It's 9 o'clock, the magic hour. We will call this meeting to order. Thank you all for being here. Madam Clerk, do we have a quorum and has the press been notified?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Magistrate Gay, would you invoke God's blessing on us today, please?
I will. Let us pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we come together and thank you for this day, this opportunity to gather in freedom. Father, we ask that you be with this court and the citizens of our community that we strive to represent in a way that glorifies you. And Father, we just ask your mercy on those, our world leaders, our national leaders, all of our other local leaders. Give them wisdom and the courage to make the decisions that best impact our citizens that we serve. And Father, as we approach Independence Day, help us forever be mindful that those freedoms that we enjoy and celebrate do not come free. Be with our men and women that stand in harm's way each and every day. In your Son, Jesus' name, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Magistrate Gay. If you all will stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, we need to approve our prior meeting minutes, and that was the minutes from June the 13th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion to approve by Magistrate Bodner, second by Magistrate Cullen. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Judge, there was one under the appearance of the mayor from Perryville. That first line, I haven't forgotten the minutes yet, but the first line says the city is taking in the city. And in the city,
okay.
It should say the county.
Wanting to annex county property
Yes,
into
yeah.
Perryville. Okay. All right, we can make that correction.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? All right, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? The motion carries. We will now approve our bills. Ms. Elena?
Alrighty, so in your all's packets you have a total billing amount of $535,933.77. We have had add-ons due to it being right at the end of the fiscal year. We're kind of needing to get some things through. So we're going to pay out Keiko for the workplace safety meeting that Sam Butler and Brian Coyle are attending today. And that's $110. We're also going to pay JP Cook $96.94. That is for the dog tags that you guys, you license your dogs. We're going to go ahead and pay out Judge Bottom for the Bluegrass ad meeting she's going to attend. Went ahead and calculated her mileage. And then we are hoping to pick up, we're going to pick up the coroner's truck today. And it's going to total $52,395. That's going to bring your grand total to $588,567.17.
I move we pay the bills as presented.
Second.
Motion to approve the bills by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Sleeper. Is there any discussion on the bills? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carried. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, guys. You want me to shut this door?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, now we have our budget transfers. Ms. Darlene?
Okay, budget transfers, several of course, some are very minimal, probably $1 here and there. But, total is $726,200.66. That's $308,410.66 coming from the general fund, or moving through the general fund. $6,148 moving through public works. $13,425 moving through joint jail. $96,423, and these are just transfers back and forth, moving through E911. Health fund, $122,520. EMS, $84,170. Fleet management, $4. Opioid, $20. And ARPA, $95,080.
What's the 163 coming out of land acquisition going somewhere else? It says general service reimbursements.
I don't remember because I've looked at these so many times.
Which fund is that?
Yeah, which fund are we in?
So we are in
In Fund 1.
the general fund.
Okay.
We're going from land acquisition, which I kind of thought we set up that for possible future land acquisition, and that's just going over to
Gotcha.
general service reimbursements.
Bear with me.
You want to come back to it later, we can.
Okay, yeah, I can, I'll look through, I've got my reports in here, so I'll look through that and I'll get that for you in a bit.
Y'all want to postpone approving this until we find out?
Please.
Okay. All right, put that on hold.
I'll have that by the time I do my other presentation.
Okay.
That's fine.
Cash transfers?
Cash transfers, total $147,641.29. The general fund to joint jail, $4,423.29. Opioid fund to the EMS fund, $55,218. General fund to public works, $25,000. And restricted fund to the Boyle County Jail, $63,000.
I move that we approve the cash transfers as presented.
Okay.
So I second.
Motion to approve by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Bodner. Is there any discussion on the cash transfers? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries, and we will come back to the budget transfers in a bit. We are ready for County Clerk Casey McCoy. Master Sleeper, would you?
Need a little intercom system for out there, Judge.
Pardon?
We need a little intercom system for out there.
Beam me in. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, which one do y'all want to start with today?
I had a question about one road I needed looked at.
Yeah. If you want to, I know we already looked at option 1, but if you want to look at option 2 first, then we can go back and compare them,
Yes.
or if you have any questions. Of course, option 2, it changed it a lot. Do note that we are now at we're over 9.7%. Within the 10% range. The other one, the first one we had was under 5% at like 4.4. This just means that the numbers are more skewed. District 4 would actually be over 11, and the rest, everybody else would be in the green area. So it really just, so the least amount would be District 1 with 4,893, and then the most would be District 4 with 5,368. If you look at the area A map, which would show that we would be taking part of 4 and putting it into 6, that would be, it would go on over to the bypass, 2168, follow 2168 till you get to Lexington Road, and then back down Lexington Road almost just right past, easy way to say it, Save-A-Lot, is right there, border up the neighborhood there behind, as you go up by Save-A-Lot. The next area A that would change, again, would be just like in the first option. We would have to take Caldwell Road, Urban Road, back down Lebanon Road to the city limits. Would take that out of 3 and put that into 1. You would also take something else that's going to change in the new option. We would take Upper Salt River Road all the way down Lebanon Road, Allen Springs Road, actually to Quirks Run Creek. That would come out of 2 and into 1. And to make the numbers work, we would then have to, if you look at area C, we would have to take Carpenter's Creek Road, Forkland Road over to Wofford Road, would take that out of 1 and put it into 2. And then also if you look at Area D, that would stay the same as option 1, as moving that from 4 into 2, kind of from Stanford Road up to Lancaster Road, all the way to the county line towards Gary County. Again, like I said, it's I think it's more of what you all were kind of asking for, but just know that there's literally not another thing that can be changed on there with this new option, to the fact that it would be over the 10% range that we have.
Do you have the number in each district of people?
I do.
Okay, could I hear them
Let's
just?
see, like I said, District 1's, it would go, I'll give you the last year, old numbers and then the new numbers.
Okay.
The District 1, in the old map is 4,531. The new map would be 4,893. District 2, old map 4,720. New map 4,894. 1 and 2 would be 1 person off. That's how close they are. District 3, 5,440. Old map, new map 5,237. District 4, 5,795. Old map.
Hold on, just slow down just a second there. District
Or,
4.
again, I can give you all a copy of this.
5795.
Y'all should have had it should be in the email that, and then
It was.
What's the new one?
the new one's 5,368. Are we on District 4, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't need to mention any other districts.
5, the old map 5,106. It would stay the exact same at 5,106. 6, 5,022 would move to 5,116. So the discrepancy would be your lowest number and your highest number, and that's how you get the 9.71%. Like I said, the big question about the first option was moving 1 into 4 up around Faulkner Station and Shakertown Road. That kind of takes care of that problem, that issue, and the rest kind of stay the same. It's just 2 kind of, instead of 1 going over, it kind of goes down, and then 2 kind of spreads long ways.
I think it looks good, and I appreciate you listening to our concerns and going back and knocking this out right away.
I guess the first option was more of the numbers, looking at the numbers, trying to make the numbers evenly as possible. But the second option is it's under the 10%, so it's totally up and would be legal and everything.
Any more feedback from the committee members?
No, they're fine with either option. They understood the concern, so it was. Again, the first option was more trying to keep the rural parts of the county rural and the city parts city. So it's and this map does the same thing.
I don't see any.
So it works out.
I'm glad to make Jason happy. Are you happy now?
Whoa. Remember, you're going to want to discuss this. Be careful.
So now Jason's
I'll
happy.
make a motion that we approve the option
Second.
to make Jason happy.
Option 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve option 2, reapportionment by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Cullen. Any
Correct.
discussion?
Yes, I was just going to say, I do hate losing half of my side of one of my roads and then Upper Salt River, because I've got good friends and people there, and I will lose them, but I am sure that Tom will take good care of them, so.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing about this. It's just, there's no way to not take some from some,
We
and
gotta do it, yeah.
some people get lucky and don't change at all, and then
Yeah.
some people have to change a little bit. So, but
Yeah.
just note this won't take place until November 8th.
And like we always say, our vote counts for the whole county.
Exactly.
So,
And plus I'm getting some new areas that I'll learn some new people.
There you go.
There you
Yeah,
go.
get new friends.
growth is good.
Probably got old friends there.
All right, any more discussion?
Just thank the committee members.
Yeah.
And thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you for your hard
Thank
work.
you.
I know, right?
All right, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? All right, thank you, Casey.
Thank
Appreciate it.
Do it again in 10 years.
Okay, Bonner Lane Zone Change Ordinance, first reading.
I'm Jenny Irwin, for those who I haven't met yet. I'm the Assistant County Attorney with Chris, so.
Welcome.
My understanding is you all have seen the long version, but this is ordinance 920.22, and it will amend 920.7, the zoning ordinance. The landowner Joyce Kidd's 1.732 acres located at 1765 Bonta Lane, Danville, Boyle County, Kentucky, will no longer be zoned as agriculture and will now be zoned as single-family residential. On April 26, 2023, Planning and Zoning Commission met and subsequently recommended that said request be approved pending zoning ordinance amendment, which shall be approved by the fiscal court.
I move that we approve the first reading of this ordinance.
Okay, we have a motion by Magistrate Gay to approve first reading of the zoning ordinance number 920.7.
Second.
Second by Magistrate Cullen. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries, and we will publish the date for the second reading. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Okay, next we have some appointments, and the first one up is the Fire Board appointment, and it is my great pleasure to appoint Matthew Ellis, and he's here with us today. Matthew. And he will be appointed to the Fire Protection Board effective June 30th, 2023 through June 30th, 2026, so it is a 3-year term. Matthew is well educated in the area that he's going to serve, that he's going to represent, which will be the Portland area. And he has been around first responders most of his life, so he's well aware of the things that the fire department has to do, and all the, he's just qualified, I'll just put it that way. He's just well qualified to take this position.
So this one's a 3-year term.
This is a 3-year term. This is a judge-appointed
Got it.
term.
I
Not,
move that we approve the judge appointment of Matthew Ellis.
You can
Second.
the beats there?
I do.
we have a motion to approve the appointment by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Ellis. Is there any discussion?
I'll just say that it's not nepotism, because he really isn't my cousin.
Okay. Thank you, Tom.
Is there a record of
Pointing that out. Can we see the genealogy?
You'll want to hold on to that one.
All those in favor of the appointment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Matthew, welcome.
Thank you.
I give you a certificate here.
And you get a t-shirt too.
And we will send a letter to the fire board letting them know that you're going to be the new. All right, thank you so much. And you're welcome to stay or leave or whatever you want to do.
We'll
So,
stay.
all right.
Drove all this way.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's gonna get interesting.
All right, our next appointment is to the Tourism Committee, CVB, and I am offering appointment of Tim Montgomery to the Tourism Commission. This will be a reappointment from June 30th, 2023 to June 30th, 2026, so it is a 3-year term as well.
I'll second that motion as well.
I'll second.
Okay, who made the motion? Okay, motion made by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Ellis. Any discussion on this appointment?
No, thank you very much.
Okay, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Tim could not be here today. He is working down in Perryville. I saw him as I came through this morning. But we will make sure he gets his certificate, and we will be sending a letter to the Tourism Commission, making them aware of his reappointment.
Judge, if I can
Thank
make
you.
one short comment.
Sure.
Those who may not know Tim, there's hardly a property in Danville and all across Boyle County that he hasn't touched and restored, many of them historic properties. He is on a rooftop in Perryville right now, and talk about economic development. He has at least 3 new properties that he's working, 3 very old properties that he's rehabilitating and restoring right now in Perryville, which will be right in concert with the idea of Convention Visitors Bureau and tourism. So, Judge, thank you very much.
Yes, my pleasure. All right, now we have Health Department Director, Brent Blevins.
You didn't get paid for being dorky.
Extra stipend.
That's part of the new meeting.
It gives me purpose.
I know, right?
Tom had to do it for a while.
Good morning,
Hey
Brent.
there, how are you all?
Welcome.
I've got 2 contracts in front of you that, these are the same contracts we've had every year. The only things that change, we'll start first with the one with the Boyle County Detention Center. The only thing that changes on those rates are, and those are Medicaid rates. If the Medicaid rate goes up, we do that. If it goes down, we do that. And that's just how we do that on the Medicaid rates. We use this as more of a backup to Brian and for their services they do out there. We're always happy to help him any way we can for the services they do to this community. So that's the first one. Any questions on that one?
You want to approve these separately, I assume?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Make a motion we approve contract with the fiscal court.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Sleeper to approve the contract with the Fiscal Court and the Health Department. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
All right. And then the second one is actually with the Boyle County Fiscal Court. And this is the one where we offer, if needed, biometric screenings, hepatitis shots, those type of things that we do as a service also. The same thing we've done in the past. We don't make any money on that. We just break even on it between the cost of the vaccine and maybe a couple dollars just for the cost of the nurses and the shot needles and that type of thing. So,
I make a motion.
Okay, I want to ask one question.
yes.
The first one, mine may not have been in the same order that yours were. So the first one
Yeah.
was for the detention center?
Yes.
Okay, because I said fiscal court. I want to make sure we clear that up in the minutes. So the first
Yeah.
one was for the detention center. Okay, now we got a motion by Magistrate Bodner.
To accept the contract with the fiscal court
With
and the
the
health department.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Magistrate Gay. Any discussion?
Very important service. I was the recipient 22 years ago when there was an incident when I was teaching at Boyle County High School. So appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
Is that the one-room schoolhouse?
Hey, you talked to all those folks from Boyle County.
All right, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Brent.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brent.
Have a great day. All right, Boyle County Jailer Brian Wofford, jail update, and Mercer County Contract.
Stop right here.
For the contract, we have kind of on the working committees, myself, Magistrate Ellis, Magistrate Gay, and then 2 magistrates from Mercer County Fiscal Court. Thanks to Julie and Chris Herring, we've put a contract together. We met last Tuesday when we had our committee meeting, so we kind of did both. Wednesday. And all of us kind of went over the contract, so we were agreeable. At our joint jail meeting on Friday, gave those contracts to Judge Steele, and she's going to give them to the 2 magistrates on there. So our first work group meeting will be what's the day, the next joint jail? 14th, I don't have it.
Yeah, July, it's a Friday before.
So it's a Friday, 14th, right, second Friday, and it will be at 9 before the actual joint jail meeting. So that will be our first meeting. So after that, we'll have an update. So that's where we're at on it. Today, my numbers, we have 68 Boyle inmates, 22 Mercer, 100 state. I'm housing 2 for other counties. I do have some good news. We have hired a full-time person to take over our community inmate work program.
Awesome.
And we actually pulled them from a state facility. They have 9 years maintenance experience, and I think that is due to the fiscal court's wisdom and foresight about raises and giving a better compensation package for employees. So we are seeing a better quality of applicants, which is I'm really happy about. So our maintenance guy will need, he's going to have needs, our full-time maintenance person now, deputy is going to need surgery, and so he'll be able to cover that. And then hopefully we have hired a part-timer that wants to work 3 days a week. So we should know next week. I know the full-time position will start training. So give us about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because we have to get him acclimated to how we do things. A jail is different than a prison. And, but it shouldn't be big, because I think he already has most of his certifications, so that should cut that down some.
So once the inmates get classified, then we'll be able
Well, as today, we have enough inmates to work.
Okay.
So that changes with the state, and I
Okay.
have no control over that. But we do have some inmates that will be willing to go out, and I know Magistrate Bodner has some projects coming up in her district. So what we're going to do is we're going to take him out with Junction, Perryville. We do some stuff at Constitution Square. So he's going to get everybody's contact numbers, and I'll make sure you get his.
Yes.
And then you can schedule, and we'll try to do what we can to help.
Sounds great.
Right now I have 36 deputies. 2 of those deputies are in training, and they should be finished either Wednesday or Thursday this week. So we have 2 new hires that'll be going out on the floor, and 9 of my new deputies have less than 6 months. So I am going to be losing 1 deputy that's been there a little over almost 2 years because of some health reasons. That's just unable to be at 12 hours on the concrete and everything. It's a little too much, so he's actually going to be working for pretrial. So I hate to lose him, but I understand why. We're in the process today changing out our inmate tablets and communication system, so the jail's a mess. So you may have some family members calling you saying they can't get in touch with their loved one that's in the detention center, so that's why, but hopefully it'll be fixed today. We were supposed to switch our jail management software over yesterday, but due to the storms in Glasgow where they actually have to do the switch, they were out of power. So hopefully we're having to update everything this morning, and hopefully sometime today that'll switch over. So we've got a lot of chaos going on. We did get our new oven in, it's going. We had to replace the dishwasher heater. That was $3,500 just for a heater about this size to go on our dishwasher, but we have to have it. Also, when we met with our committee, we're going to be adding on to the red barn behind us. We're actually going to come out toward the jail, toward the EMS side. I've met with Roger and everybody. I'm going to be able to pay for that out of canteen, and we're going to use inmates to do that, so it's going to actually be an inmate program, so it's not going to cost the fiscal court. So the good news is, because we have 2 tractors, a trailer, and everything we do for gardens, we brought the side-by-side, so we have to have more room. And then I know Roger and them's hurting for space on storing their equipment as well. But the good news is, if we get some land, get the jail built, the county can have that, so they'll get that at no cost.
Maybe the inmates can come over that side and build some more storage for Roger.
Well, if he wants to do that, we can put some out there working because doing that, because it's we're just going to add basically 2 walls in a ceiling and then move some electric over. Now we'll have to have an electrician do the electric, but everything else I can pay for out of canteen, and then like I said, I can use the inmates.
That's awesome.
So, and I think that's all I have, Judge. You don't have any questions?
Well, Jailer Wofford, we want to again extend our deepest condolences to you and your staff at the detention center, and we will adjourn today in memory of Corporal Angela Watson.
Thank you. That's much appreciated.
Y'all have any comments?
Thank you all.
All right, thank you. Next is Humane Society, Kari Q.
Scoot by you real quick, thank you.
Right on cue, no pun intended.
I like it. Good morning, and thank you as always for allowing me an opportunity to speak with you all once a month. I'm going to start with some data. Through May 31st, year to date, DBCHS and Boyle County Animal Control together have helped place 65 pets in living homes, reunited 38 lost animals with their people, which is a 28% return to home rate, is what it sounds like. Basically, if a dog is lost or stray, 38% of those dogs we are able to match up, which is higher than the national average of about 20%. So we're very proud of that. Provided county residents with access to low or no cost spay and neuter for 71 cats, but I can tell you after this month it's going to balloon. Let's see, we've had a couple bummer of owner surrenders lately. Someone who was unhoused, someone who was going to cancer treatment, and someone that was going to hospice. So as you might imagine, it's very stressful for them as well as the dogs. The good news is we can take care of them. and one of them has quickly become a favorite. I don't know if you follow Facebook, but Baxter is a big old dude with a big old smile, so we are looking forward to working with him. Foster program, we have talked multiple times about kitten season. I'm sure you're bored of it. Guess how I feel. I don't know that. Right now, we have 14 animals currently in foster homes. One with me, a very cute calico, so if you want a little kitten, you just let me know. Last month, we had 19 animals in foster homes. Now, the majority of those are going to be kittens, because as you know, we don't want kittens in the shelter. It's just not good for them. But let's see. Oh, and we just got 2 nursing mamas with 5 kittens each. They're all doing well, and I did secure a foster for one of them, and they took all 6, which we couldn't do it without folks who were willing to help. And then I'm just going to give a rundown of all of the other safety net programs that I direct. And we've talked about some of these. Obviously, the community cat program. Once again, one of my favorite things to talk about. The doggy day out, which has been very successful. We've had 2 dogs adopted because of their doggy day out. So that's part of the purpose. Of course, the main reason is to get the dogs out of the shelter and give them a break. Home to home, which we probably have talked about before. That's our we assist folks rehome their dogs by themselves. And that is, if they need food or any other supplies while they are working with us to find a new home, we absolutely want to provide that. Because again, these folks are almost fosters for us. And they are allowed then at that point, they can choose who is going to have their be the new family for their animal. Let's see, Keeping Them Together Fund. We launched that last year around this time, and that is a grant program. We've solicited donations from private and other sponsorships to create this fund, which allows for us to give $500 grants is what we're working with right now. But this is sort of a pilot still, but essentially if someone is having a critical veterinary issue, we've taken care of urinary infections that we're about to get. I can go to your brain, I guess, which sounds very dramatic and upsetting. We've also helped someone with a pregnant dog mom, sorry. And we've gotten a few more applications that just either didn't fit or the folks were able to find a different solution. But I think it's important for people to know it's there because we want to use this money. It's important. And again, it helps people keep their pets, the ultimate goal. And let's see, the Pet Food Pantry, which is constantly churning. We've got a lot of folks, it's a tough economy. And we've got a lot of folks that need a little help to bridge the gap between maybe the next check or a variety of reasons. So that's something else that I think is important for your constituents to know. We have it, we want to give it out.
How does that work?
It's super simple. Okay. You can come by the shelter between 1 and 4.
Okay.
And we will distribute it. If someone can't get there between 1 and 4, we try to make appointments. I'm happy to open up early to take care of something like that.
Is that dog and cat? Dogs and cats?
Oh, absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely. Kitten milk, puppy food, regular dog chow, regular cat food. So we've got it all, and we want to share it. And that, folks, is it.
All right. Anybody have any questions or comments for Kari? All right, well, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Oh, I'm staying.
All right.
It's going to get exciting,
Boy,
right?
there must be something going on that I don't know about. Everybody's wanting to stay today. All right, next is our treasurer, Darlene. Second budget reading, and then some other things here on our list.
All right. Okay. I did find that budget transfer.
Okay.
And thank you for finding it because it was not in the correct fund. So,
good eye, Jason.
So,
good eye.
Thank you. So actually, I'll be taking that 163,000. That will not go through. So that takes us down to only $145,410.66 coming out of or moving through the general fund.
I'm sorry. Can you give me that total again?
145,410.66.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, but it does move it to the jail fund. So I'm adding $164,000 through that jail fund, and it'll be $177,425.
Okay, so
With-
instead of general reimbursement, it should have been to the jail. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So land
So-
acquisition money.
That
is-
won't move, it's just gonna stay there.
Okay, all right.
So basically, I'm just taking out that whole one line, that line is just,
Okay, that's fine. When you said it should have moved to, I got confused. there.
oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
okay.
So now we're ready to approve the budget transfers? I'll make that motion with the corrections.
Okay.
second.
Have a motion by Magistrate Gay, a second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion on the updated budget transfers? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Okay. With that being said, because of that, I had to do one additional thing, which is add a new line item for jail reimbursements. So that new line, and this means I actually need to move some money into this line. So jail reimbursements, the line number would be 039100566600.
And that's jail reimbursement.
Jail reimbursements.
Okay.
There will be, I need to move 89,000 from 35101-12300 into that number. 52,000 from 35101-31500 into that number. And 23,000 from 35101-33400. So they're all numbers that are in the jail fund already. It's mostly out of the salary lines that have already been expended. So those were just leftover numbers that were,
Is that going to affect the second reading of our budget?
no,
Okay.
not in any way.
So
we
we need a
need that?
motion to approve
Approve
those
that.
as
So-
stated.
So we'll need those.
I'll make that motion.
All right.
Second.
Second, all right. Motion by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Bodner to approve the line item transfers as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Also, it's that lovely time of the year when we have second reading of the budget.
It is a lovely time of year.
It is a lovely time of year when this comes to an end. There were a couple of very minimal changes, nothing out of the ordinary. It would just be something that was throwing off a in and outward transfer. So they just evened up and we were approved pretty quickly and moved right on.
So
And
we
got-
have been approved by the LG.
so it has come back to us. Totals are as they were before
I'll
through
make
the
the
post.
motion, we approve the second reading of the budget.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Bodner to approve the second reading of the 23-24 Boyle County Fiscal Court budget. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
I'm gonna kind of skip one real quick. Along with that is the reappointment approval of the salaries.
Make a motion, we approve that.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion by Magistrate Cullen, a second by Magistrate Gay to approve the reappointment of all county employees with salaries as presented. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Can we jump back up to the budget real quick? I did have one question. We talked about this yesterday, the 25 million. Have you gotten any clarification on that?
I was mostly working on budget transfers yesterday, I'm sorry.
All right. So it's
I was
important
gonna
to,
say, that was
I
something
thought
that,
you had to show, I hope this is right, I thought you had to show your bonding capacity in the budget. Does that sound right? I
So
thought
it-
that's what that was.
I understand it. I'm mainly wanting to make sure that the public understands
Okay.
that we're not just spending 25 million in this budget.
Right.
So there's an extra $25 million in the budget, so that way, when, not if, but when we need to go before and get a bond for our new jail,
Right.
it will help with the rating we'll receive. So,
And I've asked KCO to have something on understanding that better, because that's one area I do need to.
It's a good topic.
Yeah, and this amount was in last year's budget. It was in the budget the year before.
It's been in the budget
And
for a
it's-
while.
Yeah, so it's just been
But
carrying
it is a good
forward.
point for the public to
Yeah.
be clarified on, because it's confusing.
Yeah.
It makes it seem like it's a much greater
Twice.
budget than
Yeah.
it is, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're not spending it yet.
yes.
Right.
It is not being spent, no. Okay, and as far as just, I wanted to do just a quick yearly update so people would know where we are right now. Just over a year ago, we started into Springbrook. And at this point in time, I had hoped we would be completely finished. We are not. We will be finished by the end of September. Everything will be wrapped up. We still have tax administration to go. Fixed assets is probably 95% of the way there. We just have to do a little training. And Rusty is finishing training with contract licensing and building inspections. So he should be ready to go by the end of this week. So it's been a roller coaster. It's been up and down. There's been some snafus in it here and there, but I've never been through an implementation that there has not been some problems. So,
Do you like this system better, or?
well, yeah.
Way better?
It's an improvement over the DOS. And actually, at this point in time, I noticed when I go into the old software to try and print off a report, most of the time it times out on me. So if we still had all of the people on it on a regular daily basis, we probably wouldn't get nearly as much done as what we can.
It brought you into the 21st century.
Yeah, I mean, we really needed it. It was a definite.
That's great.
And to be able to take all of the modules. So we are up and going with our general ledger. So we have our accounts payable, our payroll, our purchase orders, our bank reconciliations, cash receipts, fixed assets, tax admin will be on there soon. So everything will be completely running through this.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
And it's important to know that we needed this system years ago, and we were always told that there's not anything out there that will do everything that we need to do. But it's great that we've been able to find a system within the same family of what we had that they've been trying to have us switch to for years, but there was a blockage there of why we didn't switch over. But this will be, it was a good amount of money, but it'll be well worth it when it comes to fully implemented.
Yeah.
And considering what they're having to take from, I'm not surprised it's taking this long.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and each person that's going to be primarily working in certain modules is kind of having to do certain amounts of work to go back and capture certain things.
Yeah.
Figure out which vendors, figuring out, who goes forward, who doesn't, what needs to be done. Katina has picked up on cash receipts and is keeping those in line. Elena went through fixed assets and went out and literally put eyes on everything and made sure we had it and everything was ready to go. Julie and Rusty have been working with the, what are those called, contracts. So I think everybody's kind of had their part and been able to put certain things into it that they want to and can and try to help them with their own processes.
And then part of your, I don't want to say problem, but part of what's happened is that you've had to go through 3 different trainers now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're on our 3rd trainer within the system, and every time you get a new person, then they have to figure out what you've done, personalities have to mesh, and so.
Man, I'm sorry.
So, well.
So you've scared off 2 others.
I scared off one guy really early, just as we were starting to implement the chart of accounts, and that is where things went.
Really?
So as he and I had one thing done, someone else walked in the door, and she didn't really understand what we had done, and she did something completely different, and we went in all sorts of different ways. But some of those were caught early, some of them have been caught later.
All right.
I'm still
So they had corrected things, and you didn't know they corrected things, and you went and corrected things, and then found out, yeah, so.
So it's, yeah. So to this day, I'm still making some corrections.
Yeah.
All this started
Job
before
security.
you were here,
Job security, yeah.
right? All started before you were here.
No, actually, this was all,
Oh, you
yeah,
did it
this
all.
was all me. Yeah, I can't blame anybody but me on that one. Nope, it's all me. I'll take it.
But bringing prior year information
Exactly, that's-
into the
that's
current
what I meant,
system
yeah.
has been where most of
Challenge.
the
Yeah,
challenges,
it's been challenging. So as we're finishing up the year, I should hope, well, I won't hope, but I will have a good fourth quarter report. I hopefully will be finished with some of my changes that have to be made this week. And that's kind of been my goal, is to have anything that was wrong over here corrected and exactly where it needs to be, so that we can get a good final fourth quarter report that I can give to you all, hopefully a month from now, at the end of next month.
All right.
So that is part of the reason why that hasn't happened really well before, and I apologize for that. That's my bad, but that's why it was going that way. I also just wanted to let everybody know that we did just do an exit interview with the fiscal year 22 auditors. So we are now caught up with where we need to be audit-wise. We did have some findings, completely expected it.
Be
totally-
prepared for the newspaper.
Totally anticipated them. Most, all of them are already reconciled and completely in action. But when you have 3 treasurers, 1 finance officer out for 12 weeks on maternity leave, and people stepping in, and you know, things are going to happen. It's just, it's the way it is. So we're just trying to go forward and make sure everything, you know, works smoothly from
We're
here
on
on out.
an even keel now, and
Yeah.
the 6 months that I've been here, I can't say enough good things about Darlene, the way she conducts herself with her work. And if there's a problem, she will dig until she finds the answer, and it may take a while, but she will keep digging until she figures it out. So I can't say enough good things about you, Darlene. We're proud to have you here, and thank you for the work that you do. And that will lead us right into the next topic on the agenda, right? Okay.
And I'll make that motion.
All right, so let me read here. Pursuant to KRS 68010, Fiscal Court hereby makes the following appointment. Darlene Lanham as County Treasurer, effective July 1, 2023, for a 4-year term. We have a motion by Magistrate Gay, a second by Magistrate Bodner. Is there any discussion on
Yeah, I would just like to
the reappointment?
echo the sentiments of the judge, and I've mentioned this to Darlene before, so not to embarrass her, but it has been amazing, and it's a job that, you know, she came into, which was in chaos, and she's really grown in her confidence and understanding of the job, and I definitely appreciate all the work and effort she's put in, and even the software transition and all that's going on to make it work even better in the future. So look forward to her continued years of service to the
Absolutely.
fiscal court.
I want to mention that as a new person, trying to get my head around the budget and all that, she's helped me turn it to something.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Why'd you look at me?
I didn't see you say aye.
Don't you dare.
Motion is approved.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Welcome back. Okay, next we have Solid Waste Director Angie Muncy. Come on down.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, I have the memorandum of agreement for the removal of livestock in front of you.
By the way, when I see DAR there, I keep thinking of daughters of
Daughters.
America.
I did too, the
So
first
it's
thing.
kind of like, I wish we'd just spell that out each time.
I can do that. I can do that if it'll make you happy.
That's right, yeah.
Nothing makes him happy.
That's right. I'm just always grumpy.
Oh, yes, I know. The only thing with this agreement, the agreement's
Except for
fine.
The same agreement we've had.
Same agreement we've had. I've talked to Magistrate Gay at our committee meeting, and the $70,000, you know, we may need to review again next year. However, I do have a printout here. They give us $70,000 a year, which normally would pay for everything, but it's been a rough year.
They being the conservation district.
They be in the conservation district.
If I could
And,
get you to pause there real quick, just to give everybody some numbers.
okay,
That number that we talked about in the committee meeting is, the actual number is $69,105.81, and that was without June being included, and we've been averaging, it looks like about $7,000 a month or so in expenses. And so, you know, you can see where that number, that real number is going to end up somewhere in the $75,000 to $78,000 range. And so that's where we, you know, one of the things we need to talk about, the $70,000. And one of the other points, and Angie may get to this, but that jumped out to me in the number she presented to us is the exponential growth of repairs. Because one of the big line items that's gone up significantly is the exponential growth in repairs of the vehicle. So we went from 3 years ago, it cost $1,600 in repair, to last year, $6,500 in repair, to this year, $14,000 in repairs. And that's with our own mechanic working on it. So you can see, we need to talk about the vehicle as well as something that we need to look at in this arrangement.
Okay. All right.
I've got on that, but go ahead. Sorry.
I'll let Angie finish and then we'll double wrap.
that's basically where we're at. I was talking to Mr. Layback here, the guidelines that I had here, we're going to sort of dismiss at the moment. We have a few things we need to go over. Basically, this came from Department of Agriculture, but there's other things that probably need to be listed that's not listed. You know, basically the only problem that we have, and I discussed that with Mr. Layback here, was number 2, that, you know, if it's more than a fourth decomposed with the cavity exposed, it won't be picked up. I got a picture that my driver had sent. I know I discussed it with Judge Bottom here, and I just can't, you know, if they have to pick it up and it falls apart, they shouldn't have to pick it up. It's too late, it's been too long. I know we have holidays, and I know there's weekends, but, you know, it's hard for me to keep a driver and do their job than the farmers yelling and disrespecting them also. So, you know, I just want to keep that in mind, that we're doing the best we can with what we got to work with. So, other than that, you know, there's really no issues. And
That 70,000, is there any COLA increase on that ever, or is it just going to be 70?
this is the agreement we have.
4 years. We started the program 4 years ago.
Yep.
And it's probably time we put in some kind of.
I would say so, because I mean, what we're seeing in some of those vehicle expenses are inflation increase numbers.
According to Magistrate Gay's numbers, the repair on the truck is almost the difference between
It is.
70,000.
Yeah.
That's the number that jumps out. The rest of the numbers are pretty consistent.
But once again, this is a commercial truck. Think of Outlaw or something. You always have to analyze whether it's more cost effective for a major overhaul or purchasing a new vehicle.
Yeah.
And we're close.
Okay, and our speaker is Danny Lay. He's with the Conservation District, just so we have that for the record. So it sounds like maybe we need to maybe postpone this and get together with the Conservation District. Would that be your recommendation, Mr. Lay? Okay. And
Are we postponing both? Do you want to postpone both things, Angie?
Well, definitely.
You're the fiscal court. I mean, I'll
Definitely
do
the
whatever
guidelines.
you all
Guidelines,
want to
That's
do.
done.
I just
But if
want
we
to make
wanna
everybody aware of what's going on. You know, that's my only thing.
Okay.
Everything's the pleasure of whatever you all want us to do.
If we want to negotiate the price
I think we
with the
should.
Conservation District, then I think we should postpone this and get together with
Yeah, I
their
agree. I think
committee
that would be the prudent way to go.
and then come back. We'll have to do it pretty quickly, but, you know, because it's
Okay.
expiring, but we'll get together and do that.
And Judge, I'd just like to make the comment that cattle in this county outrank probably all the counties that surround us. Livestock law is just a major economic boom for our constituents. And I'm so pleased that Danny Lay was here today to help us out. So thank you,
And
Danny.
no disrespect, Tom, but most of them are in your district. Okay, so can I have a motion to,
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Postpone.
I'll second it.
okay, motion by Magistrate Bodner, second by Magistrate Gay to postpone the memorandum of agreement until we meet with the Conservation District and renegotiate the cost for pickup. Okay.
And
and
one of
second.
just one of the comments on the guidelines here as we meet and rework this, because if I can't be there, and I hope I can at whatever meeting we have, but I guess I should have brought it up at our committee meeting, but the whole fourth decomposed thing, I guess I'm wondering, is there a better measurement of that, or I'm kind of wondering, you know, that seems like that would be in the eye of the beholder.
This was Trilly and I working like, you know,
Go ahead,
she's
Mr.
got
Lay.
farming experience, I don't.
Yeah,
But, you
that's
know,
all
we
right.
were just trying to
I'm the
come
city,
up with,
I'm the city slicker in this thing.
So am
Why
I,
are you
but
talking?
this was a problem. And this is what it brought our attention. And the farmer who had this was just irate that, you know, that we didn't
Which one's got the
pick
highest
it
limit?
up. Huh?
Which one's got the highest limit?
Oh, none of them, I use it all.
All the numbers are worn off of it.
Yeah, they're wore off, I've used them
And
so
it's,
much.
it's hard to put a percentage on it, but, you know, we just feel like if there's
Bone showing?
bone, pretty much, if there's bone showing, then it's
Mr.
probably.
Lay would like to jump in on
Yes,
this.
I'm sorry, yes, Mr. Lay.
One of the problems is that this is a job that doesn't appeal to just everybody.
Correct,
Entry level, if you know,
It's hard.
correct.
there is some skill to how you hook these and pull them up on the truck. Almost a year ago, we had a new young man that was on the job, and he surmised that if he could raise that bed up a little bit, it would be easier to pull those carcasses in there. Problem is, it dumped all the liquid residue right out in the farmer's driveway.
And they got mad again.
And they got mad again.
I would ask you all to support Angie in making this position as lucrative as it possibly could be.
Yeah, we finally got a driver and a backup
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
so.
Thank you, Mr. Lay.
We'll remember that during the renegotiations.
They're, I can't say good things, they do work with us well and,
Very well.
you know, but
Yeah.
it's just, it is what it is.
And it's been 4 years, so it is time to sit down and renegotiate and talk about some.
You know, we
things.
want to continue it, it's been a good program.
Yeah.
It's been a headache, but at times, but everything else is also, so.
Very beneficial. Thank you. Okay, Public Works Supervisor, Roger Johnson.
All right.
I always wanted to be a talk show host. Come on down.
And I think it's also nice to notice the modeling that he's doing of
Yes,
the,
new
of the
uniform.
new
Uniform,
Yeah.
Appreciate that. At least you can see me now. You know.
Makes it legal for deer hunting.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm here this morning for salt bids. KCO has sent us 3 bids. So I guess the cheaper one of the bunch, and they're all treated salt bids.
That's critical. We ran
And-
short last year, didn't we?
It went, and but anyway, you can see the numbers on that. I think last year that Magic Salt was the only one that even posted a bid, and it was at $200 and some a ton. So significantly, we're down to around 100 now,
Yeah.
half of that. So
Yeah.
so
It seems like if I'm not correct, and I don't know if you know Roger or not, but It seems like in the past, we've always approved all the bids in this case.
Well,
Because I think there's those situations where one provider doesn't have the supply and you have to go to the other supplier. So we'd have to research that, but I seem to recall that
Makes sense.
this is one of those issues that we've always approved all the bids and
But
just so
start
we
with the
lock them in.
lowest.
Yeah,
Start with the
you
lowest.
start, that's who you buy from
Right.
first, but we need to
well,
research
I'm not
that.
aware of that, so I mean, that's-
Okay. I just-
Can we get the
that might be a
tonnage
clean
committed
question.
early?
well, we got it 800 tons, what we turned into CAECO for. So, you know, that's on record of 800 tons, so.
Good.
So, and then of course they send us, you know, they do the hard work and, you know, send out for bids and then they send that to us to.
I guess
we need
follow
do
up to
with
my
it.
question, does that mean they will make sure we get the 800 tons?
Yeah,
That's committed to us.
yeah,
And that should obviate the need for a second bid.
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So,
Make a
well,
motion to
that's
accept the
a
Morton bid.
job.
Second.
The Morton bid. Okay, we have a motion by Measure Cohen, a second by Measure Ellis. Any discussion on salt bids? All those in favor of accepting the Morton salt bid at $108 per ton, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carried.
Thank
Thank you,
y'all.
Are
Mr.
you
Johnson.
leaving, Roger, you're gonna be able to stay?
I'll stay a little bit.
Okay.
You,
I just wanted to,
go ahead.
I wanted to thank you for mowing in the district. We've seen that starting to happen.
Right.
And the culvert that you checked
Check it
out.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they said, Rita said you were going to check that out. And still be glad to see when the trees overhanging roads when we get to cut those.
Well, I know, I mean, we just got one machine for trimming those back and it's, you know, we can't be all over the
Exactly.
county with it. but,
Exactly.
You know, so we're still working on roads with that.
All right.
You've got somebody using the long arm pretty much every day.
Every day.
Every day,
Yeah,
good.
And you know, we really won't say I'm in Jason's territory.
I beg your pardon, but that's tiny area.
What in the world? Hey,
Anyway.
What you buy the free lunch?
Now you've done it, now you've done it.
About time they saw the eastern part of Boyle County.
Roger, I would like to commend your guys because that storm that came through the other night
Yeah,
loaded up a lot of roads and you guys were out early and
Right.
got everything cleared.
Well, we got all the roads clear. We're, as of this morning, finishing up on, you know, some pickup stuff.
got
So,
mine.
yeah, you know, and that's where we're at with that today. And then, of course, we're long arming, and so that's pretty much what's going on right now.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
Considering the eastern part of Boyle County's got the most constituents, Tom, I'm gonna pull one out of your playbook here, buddy.
Okay. Moving right along.
In my district, if you sneeze, your neighbor doesn't bless you.
Before we go into administrative code, I want to go ahead and get the compensatory time agreement approved.
Make a motion, we approve.
Okay, motion. Well, there's Shannon. I didn't even know where you were at. I looked for you a while ago.
Ready?
Okay, all right, well, go ahead. I'll let you present.
I have a comp time agreement. I believe it's Chris Hicks.
Yes.
It doesn't say what department he's with.
He is with solid waste.
Solid waste.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so I didn't catch who made the motion, sorry.
Oh, that was definitely me.
Okay. Motion by Measure Cullen, second by Measure Bodner. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
I was asleep at the wheel.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you, Shannon.
All right, now we hop back to administrative code, and Julie? Yay, you're up.
Okay, how would you like to do this? Would you like me to go through the document change by change? Do you want me to hit the highlights? What would you like?
Highlights to start.
Highlights to start. Okay.
Is the judge, if that's okay?
That's perfectly fine. Yeah, however you all want to do it.
Where's this in our drive here?
It's on the previous date, 6/19.
So it's not in our packet.
No,
No, it was
no, you received
presented
it. It's under Julie.
earlier.
Alright.
I sent you a copy to review, and thank you, Magistrate Sleeper. I have received your comments and worked them in, most of them.
Teacher's pet over there.
Okay, so,
Just tell us what page you want to start.
well, yeah.
619.
You ready?
Everybody found it? We'll make sure everybody did.
I'm gonna wait
Okay,
until
let's
everybody
give
has
Jason
it.
a minute.
Not to be a pain, but if we could have it.
Jamie, you might have to help him.
I'm not fine either.
I think it was 619.
I usually get help from him.
Hold on.
Yeah, no, you gotta go into our emails, it's not.
It's under Julie.
Yeah, it's under Julian emails.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we could get those in our packets, that'd be
Zoning ordinance. Not that one, obviously.
We'll go back to the old-fashioned paper packet.
Oh, no, not this many pages.
Thank you on
Was
June
it
619.
619.
Yeah, it's in
At
619
11:10 a.m.
emails.
Email.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Got it? Okay.
Got it.
All right. I made a few changes in the definitions. We really drilled down on breaking out and explaining what full-time and part-time is. I added something for public record. And Steve, to your question, I put regardless of physical form or characteristics to cover electronic, paper, all that. So that's that. Looking for bigger ones.
Let's go just page by page, just tell us the page we're on and.
Yeah, because I'm able to follow that.
Let's start with
Please.
chapter 3 on page 16.
What about chapter 2?
Let's see, what's in chapter 2?
Under general administration, page 10.
Okay. Yes, that's where I was trying to find.
Okay.
We have modified a little bit the appropriation limits. Instead of 9,999, we say 10,000. And instead of 10,000, we say 10,001, whether a group comes before you or not. Human resources will have input on any kind of disciplinary actions with employees.
Makes sense.
The flow chart, annual organizational chart will be reviewed annually.
Page 11.
Okay, page 12, there's nothing. Page 13, nothing. The next change is on page 16, it looks like. As part of the agency appropriation process, 300.3, we've added that language in there. Page 17, duties of the county administrator, striking 303.03, 303.04, 303.05B, 303.06, 303.07, 303.09, 14, 15, 16.
I'd like to speak to that, please. No one would ever accuse me of any ability in terms of finance, and all the more that alerts me to the fact that when you have a second set of eyes, and I think this even goes on some other pages, so I'm making this kind of a blanket statement about lending a hand. I would not want to be treasurer with the complexities that we just talked about 30 minutes ago, about the budget, about the appropriations, about line items that have to change midstream. And if I didn't have a second set of eyes helping me as treasurer, I would be very uncomfortable. And then in addition to that, in preparation for audits, and as Darlene suggested, there's never going to be a totally clean audit with the state. And so we have to be prepared for the discussion aspect of that sort of a thing. I think our public demands that the idea, again, my lay terms of a second set of eyes is critical. The Finance Committee certainly doesn't want the huge burden of keeping up with that, and I as a magistrate also would like the concept of a second set of eyes. So there are many of these lines that have been eliminated, and I would respectfully suggest that none of them be eliminated from it's just so important that we be prepared every month of the year and at audit time with the concepts that I've just covered.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis.
I'd like to make that as a formal motion.
Well, I'd like to respond first to your comments. Julie and I sat down and we went through this line by line of what duties that she does and doesn't do, and the things that have been struck are the things that she really does not participate in at all, and hasn't been participating in them. So that's why we struck those, is because it's not really anything that she has been doing, and we're trying to take some of these as far as like payroll. Elena is now learning to do backup payroll for Shannon. So we've kind of redistributed some of these things into other positions, but basically the ones that are struck are things that Julie was not participating in to start with.
But where's the language that says that others have that account, not responsibility, but the accountability?
Well, we'll have to wait till we get to that section, because this right here is just under the county administrator. So once we get to that section, we may have inserted some language, and we may not. I may not have to wait till we get there.
Okay, as long as we flag that so we can discuss it at that point. Thank
Julie, you correct me if I'm wrong in that.
Let's go through it and see, make sure it's in here. I can't remember if it's in here or not.
I don't remember seeing it.
It's just like 303.07, Assistant County Treasurer, but the jail canteen. Julie has it and is not
We don't
overseeing
even-
anything about the jail canteen.
We don't even have anything to do with
We don't have
that.
anything to do with that at all.
I understand that one line item, but the
Yeah.
concept of other sets of eyes is what I want to find in here somewhere between now and the 60th page.
And I think there are other sets of eyes, with Elena doing the finance part of it. Her and Darlene work closely together.
Then those positions should be mentioned in the
Yes.
administrative
Yes.
code.
We did add 30311, which is some of the things that I am doing more of.
Excellent.
We were trying to just get what she's actually doing as part of her duties.
Oh, I don't want to overload
And the stuff
Julie.
that she's not doing, we just got rid
Yeah,
of.
with all the
Right.
grants and
She's not
everything else
doing
that
it.
she's bringing.
But, and it's important that there's not like a disconnect between the two, that, because Julie does so much and helps us, informs us, that I need to make sure that Darlene and Julie are aware of everything that's going on.
They communicate every day.
Interchangeably.
Yeah, they communicate every day.
Yeah, I don't want any walls put up.
No,
Because
no.
some of this that we're going through, we put in there specifically because of past issues
Right.
of this code.
Right.
So we've worked on this code before.
I understand.
Each year. So some of the things that are being taken apart were put in there for a specific reason.
Okay, well, I'm just saying she's
No,
not doing it,
I understand.
so. You can put it in there, but it's not part of her duties.
Let's keep going. Let's see. So we added in about writing contracts and interlocal agreements and understandings. Writing and oversight of RFPs, we added that, or that, we didn't add that, we put "and" instead of "or." Chapter 4 is establishing the day and time of fiscal court, who oversees it. I don't remember. 40504 on page 21. We changed that to finance officer. The county judge, instead of the county judge preparing a list of bills, it's the finance officer.
What page, I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, that is page 21.
Okay.
And I hope our page numbers line up.
Let me get
They are.
I've been playing with the...
Yeah.
Well, the code helps, so.
Yeah. Okay, page 23, chapter 5. 500.01, we added finance committee as part of the budget. The rules and regulations of the state, local finance office. Okay. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Page 25, 50306. The bank cannot pay a warrant without a signature of both the treasurer and the county judge executive, or a second signature as designated by the county judge executive. That's new.
Which would be the deputy judge.
And if you're out of town for some period of time, you can do that by phone, by granting that opportunity, correct?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the deputy judge
You wouldn't have
acts
to
in
sign off
absence
on it.
of the judge, so
Yeah.
it's already KRS.
Thank you.
50401. We have struck number 8 of keeping an account for all these different funds. There are more funds than
Yeah.
what's listed here, so it's easier just to take that out. Countersign 50408, we have struck that, A, B, and C. 50409, eliminated the funds, the listing of funds.
And just leave each fund.
50414 is new in the treasurer's jobs. and that has to do with reporting state and local federal reports. 50415, you'll see I highlighted the county's written investment policy because I'm not sure we have that, do we? Yeah, this is a carryover from many years, and I'm not sure we have a written investment policy, and I wanted to just bring that up, that we either need one or we need to take it out.
I put it in.
Okay, all right, we'll write one.
Maybe in boxes, so.
Yeah.
we'd have to-
Okay, we'll get one for you to approve and insert in, but we'll go ahead and get through the code, and then we can modify it with that.
Sure.
50416, record and retention destruction for the finance office would fall under the treasurer.
Julie, a point of order on that. We're due getting this in by July 1, correct?
It's supposed to be reviewed in June and adopted, so.
Then, if we don't have the language that you just suggested on the written investment policy, can we give you the latitude that after we adjourn, you can get that done and get that sent,
Sure.
Judge?
Sure. What I'd like to do is write it, bring it to you, and we'll amend it in July.
Yeah,
And
we can
add
always
that
in the code.
Okay,
Yeah,
as long
but the
as it's
language is in there allowing
within
it.
July. Okay,
Yes.
I thought it was
Yeah,
July 1.
Well, it is, but you can modify it
You can
or something
handle
like
it.
that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
But the language is in there that we have one.
Gotcha, thank you.
That's
Which
the
is
important part.
imperative that we have.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
important part. Let's see, 520.19, the treasurer has asked to strike the financial.
520?
520.19.
What page is that?
Yeah, we're skipping
Oh,
way.
seven.
Oh, I think it should be like 504.
Oh, wait a minute, it's just stuck in
okay,
there
it should
after
be
504.
Yeah, you said,
Oh,
I renumbered.
Yeah, the numbering.
Gotcha.
So, she has asked to strike the financial administration of the employee health insurance program. So I don't know who manages that fund.
That would fall under Steve.
Well, I mean, yeah, as far as the health fund itself, I'll still watch over the fund, but as far as some of the issues with,
Employee.
signing and picking up and that, as far as that goes.
I
Well,
think
rather than
Shannon
striking
does
the
a lot of
line,
it
why
now.
not have it read Human Resources Director?
Well, because this is the county treasurer.
Because this is under county treasurer, so we have to put it
Okay.
under
All
that
right,
section.
then when we get there, Steve,
It's still, the money part of it will still, will still flow through it. But I'm gonna let you manage the rest of it. I don't wanna make a decision.
Before Steve, we had a previous treasurer that was very involved with the healthcare aspect.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the insurance, and so that's why that's there.
Yes.
And I agree, it doesn't make sense to have it there.
Right. 50424.
Thanks, Jason. You agree with me.
It can happen, it can happen.
Write that down.
Bad guy.
50424, it's been asked to add that Darlene, the treasurer, will assist the judge in financing capital projects. That's a new one. 50501, again, striking all these different funds. 50503 is except for standing orders. We've added that. County funds shall be paid by fiscal court except for standing orders.
okay.
50510, she's asked to strike coordinating with the county administrator.
Hold on,
So
let's
that's
go
all.
back to, let's go back to 03.
Mhm.
What's the reasoning behind this?
You have standing orders already.
So we don't have to get them approved every month because they're already approved.
Like payroll, utility bills, what else?
They're paid
Payrolls,
automatically.
Insurances, utilities.
Paid automatically, but still brought before the court in the bill packet, right?
Right.
Yes,
that was
yes.
with-
It just don't mean we have to come and ask for permission to pay.
Before
it.
they're paid.
Yeah.
Before they're paid.
Do we have a threshold of a certain dollar amount?
Yes.
Because I don't want something put on a standing payment.
You have to approve the
We
standing
You
order.
have to approve the standing
I
order.
understand that, but I still think there should be a dollar limit.
Well, there is somewhere.
Payrolls, how much is payroll?
Well, I mean, okay, so we've got payroll,
Uh-huh,
it's in your budget, you've passed the budget,
understand that.
but per line item, so that Shannon's able to go ahead and cut the checks,
I
it doesn't
understand.
have to come straight back through fiscal court to be approved. Those numbers could be anywhere from, what, like 135, 140,000 in some groups.
Where's my list of standing orders? How about that?
It is should be, I think, on the back of your budget.
Yeah, I think it's in there somewhere.
Is it not showing there?
I'm looking at a different page right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm
But
not-
it-
I'm looking at the
but
administrative code.
It
I'm not
should
looking at
be,
the budget.
yeah, it should be on the back of the budget.
Okay.
I was gonna say, if not, I've got, I think I've got a copy on here.
Workers'
No, I
comp.
don't.
Workers' comp is one of them. Salaries. Well, all that salary. Retirement, Social Security, and workers' comp.
I can
Page are we
scan
looking
a
at?
copy of those in.
That's on the budget.
Yeah, I've got the budget up now.
Okay, the last, about 4 or 5 pages. Debt service, utilities, and insurance, vision, life, and health, and dental. And then insurance claim payments. I believe that's all of it. It starts with the insurance. First page of it, annual standing orders, pre-approve certain recurring expenses. Starts with the general fund insurance. Find it.
Yep. So, yeah, so we've got the vision,
Vision,
and then
life,
life,
health,
health,
dental.
dental.
That's a standing order. Then it goes to utilities, telephone.
The complexity here would be a standing amount for so many different categories. I think it'd be very difficult.
Yeah. So you approve the standing orders
I,
to pay, and then, I mean, I don't know how you'd really put you'd have to put a limit on each one individually. Welcome, Mayor.
I mean, we have a KU bill that is made up, it's an overpage that's made up of multiple different bills for different areas, and it could be $10,000 to $12,000.
And plus,
But
you're gonna
it's
see
made
these
up
in
of
your
a bunch of
bills.
different ones.
I mean, we just presented some of them, so you're gonna see them in your bills, what the amounts actually are.
And actually, one of the things I had considered, and if you want, we could do the beginning of each month in the packet. I think that there's a check register that I can print, and I could just print that and have it added to the packet as well for the previous month.
Yep.
So,
Go to 50305 on page 25. This goes in line with 50305. Excuse me. Recurring payments, the payroll for county employees as well as other recurring payments that the fiscal court may designate by standing order shall not require monthly fiscal court approval as prescribed by CARA 68.275. So in 50305, you designate standing orders. And so I think we put it like where we were.
We've covered our bases.
On page
Yeah,
27.
503 is just reiterating 50305. What's your pleasure?
You good, Master Cullen?
yeah. I'll talk about it later.
All right, next page, 505.11. 10 and 11, we were at 10, we're strike court. The inventory is now going to be solely handled by the finance officer. 505.11 just reiterates the meeting the deadlines. When I came, we hadn't done an inventory since 2017, so we were almost 3 years behind. You're supposed to do it twice a year. You do
That's
mid-year and you do a full one, and so now Elena has that as part of her duties.
So
to do
that kind of includes the fleet management is what I think. you call it.
Right.
Everything.
And,
Just
Everything. That's everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
and it's also a time, and if you don't know this, we have done a lot of work to clean the basement and surplus out and get rid of stuff, broken things.
Right.
So that is also sort of a time for us to clean house a little bit, so.
and she, actually, Elena went out, she literally went everywhere. She went to North
Every
Point
department.
and found
Everything.
blue rubber, or blue plastic bins, I think, for Angie, that Angie didn't realize were out there, I think. And so, I mean, she literally went all around and put eyes on everything.
It's on the inventory
good.
list.
So, to know what we had.
And there was stuff I didn't know I had.
Now you do.
Now I do.
You got some tires you need to get rid of?
Okay, the next change is on 51001, and that is on page 30, I believe. And this is a policy decision that we would like you to instruct us on how you would like to handle it. As of right now, if the employee needs to, we had an employee who had a death and the ambulance picked up the deceased person and she received a bill. And so we're wondering if it's appropriate, or is it a little hard to receive a bill from your employer for EMS services. So we were thinking perhaps once insurance pays for the transport of an employee's family member, would that be enough to cover the ambulance and we wouldn't send them an additional bill? And second to that, if you feel like that's the compassionate thing to do for our employees, what would designate a family member and where would you cut that off? So there's really two things here, and we felt uncomfortable about it, wanted to bring it to your attention that we did, we are sending bills to our employees who might use EMS and have a deceased person, and then, if you do say, we'd like to drop that, what constitutes a family member? So it's a complicated one, but we want to bring that to your attention.
Stepchildren.
Yes. Did I say
I
that right?
think you cover through your health care.
Yeah, so if healthcare covers it, and whoever's covered on our health insurance plan, then that would be a good benchmark maybe.
But this is only if they've passed away?
Right.
So that's gonna be the
Right.
difficult.
I think all county employees, that would, no matter what, if they
Oh.
transported by ambulance, we take the insurance and then right off the rest.
And you're just talking about a deceased body.
He's saying everybody.
He's saying
everybody.
Okay. If you have to go to the hospital.
Okay.
And they're covered on our insurance.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to be covered on their insurance.
How do you feel about that?
We gotta run some numbers on that one. You can't just make a choice on that right now because.
There would be no way for me to run that number, just because I don't know.
Well, let's do this.
And I'm not gonna try to talk ill of our employees, much as being in HR in the past. If you have an open policy like that, there's room for abuse.
Let's
Once
do
July
this.
1's gonna change a few things too, with
Right.
enrollment, so.
Maybe
we're
we
gonna look
move
at-
this to the personnel management. We're gonna rework our personnel policy manual. Let's address this then, and perhaps put it in next year. Is that?
Okay.
But I didn't
Probably.
want to point that out to you. But it is
It's a good idea, but it's gonna take more than just.
Yeah, I think the
To
budget
straighten
would
it
have
out.
to be.
I think we have a good feedback from you.
Or EMS,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, it could invite calls that are necessary.
We'd also take this budget, transfer.
If there's any changes until we get to, I'm looking here. Okay, page 38, chapter 7.
Hold on, 32,
There's a May.
Did I put just
section
one?
D.
Did I miss one?
It's something small, I just wanna know the thought behind it. So demand letter, the 90-day point, a third letter, and final letter will be
This is-
sent, this letter of
Well,
demand.
registered letter is now like $15,
Okay.
and they never sign for them.
Yeah, they don't pick them up, and we're spending $15 to $20 to
I
send a
just
registered
wanna
letter.
understand the thought
Yeah,
behind it.
So it's an option. You may send it, or
Right.
you may
Yeah.
just send it regular mail instead of
People
certified.
know, they know if they get a registered letter from the tax administrator, they know what that is. And they're not gonna pick it up. We've learned that over the last 2 years of trying to find people. And so we've come up with some other creative ways to find people and get the notices to them.
Well, never mind.
So I'm asking that it go from should to may, because there are times when may, like if it's a company, they may pick up their mail, but individuals don't. Is that,
So,
That's good.
hold on.
and this is just pertaining to the 90-day demand letter for payment of past due taxes.
Final letter.
Yeah.
Then what is the next stage when it's ignored?
I turn it over to Chris.
County attorney.
Chris and I write a letter, and it says this is your last communication. And then the next step is to file against them.
Thank you.
So what's the language in there that, because some could interpret that you just don't send the letter. I mean, do you want to put like maybe sent via
It's the
certified
certified registered mail that we're trying to say we do not have to send it
Yeah.
certified registered
But
mail.
I'm just looking for something there that says we have to make sure we send the letter. It could go out certified or regular.
Okay.
It's kind of,
Well, we could say may be sent via certified registered mail or regular mail.
Well, that's still
demand
a delay,
letter,
though.
yeah. At the 90-day point, a third letter must be sent.
Or shall.
Okay, shall
No,
be
third
sent.
letter
Shall be sent.
shall be sent.
I like that, yeah.
But not necessarily
And
by
may
registered.
be sent
Yeah.
via certified.
Okay, that's good.
Right.
That's really
Okay.
good, yeah. I like that. Okay.
Look at us agreeing again.
Hey!
Tell you what.
We're getting
It's a
somewhere.
record.
I think
We're not done.
as
I'm
we
playing the
go
lottery
to
today.
This is
We
just-
win that together, that's
That's
gonna
right,
be a mess.
that's right.
Page 38, procurement, purchasing, and contracts. 70104, and I did check KRS this morning. The purchase for putting out to bid has gone up to 40,000 from 30. Also, we put in here on 70105 a clause that we could utilize the secondary advertising, which is to put a blurb in the paper that says refer to the website, and then you don't have to print those big long,
Thank you.
sometimes you have to, but you don't always, long ads.
And I
So
saw that just recently in the newspaper where
Yeah.
it said refer to the website in the classified section.
it saves us some money.
I have a question on this one. There, as an attachment.
Okay.
What page?
The 701.07, the county may opt to allow bidders to submit their bids electronically as an attachment. So
You're
they're
adding
not-
language there?
We would specify in the advertisement how we want them to submit.
Because if they're supposed to be considered closed bids and you're opening up immediate.
Yeah, there's some KRS about that.
I was gonna say.
I read that.
Okay.
As an attachment. I think
Yeah.
that would be better language.
So you
Because
want
you can
them-
open the email, you don't necessarily have to open the
Right.
attachment
Right, yeah, and that attachment can be held till
later.
time.
Okay?
Hold on, I'm making a change here.
Okay.
Hold on just a second. If I don't do this, I'll forget.
Okay.
Okay, got it. Let's see. Again, 70301 on the next page is put in the 30 to 40. 705 is small purchases. And I think, Steve, you had a question about small purchases, is that right? Do I remember that right?
What's the definition of a small purchase?
Okay, a definition of a small purchase.
Like small animals.
A small purchase is what we're proposing is anything under $10,000 would be a small purchase.
Oh, okay.
Okay, if it's over 10, it would require 3 quotes, and if it hits the 40, then you have to bid it out. And I did pull up KRS today and read, and there are some exceptions for the 10,000 level. So that's where we came up with that number, is to sort of follow.
And also due to the cost of things now,
Everything's
that
going up
everything
in
went up,
cost.
so, yeah.
Is 70502, is that
Yeah.
the right language
It's
for that?
confusing.
It shouldn't
I
say
just
exceeding.
inherited this language, so I can change it however you would
Purchase.
like. This is whatever.
For- Yeah, it should say for any purchase up to 10,000.
Say
Yeah.
exceeding, that's not
Exceeding.
the right word there.
Should say
Shall
up
be
to.
deemed a small purchase, but then it says
Less
small
than-
purchases require 3 quotes.
Okay,
Isn't
so
it over 3?
any purchase less than $10,000 shall be deemed a small purchase. How's that?
Yeah,
And
that's
then-
better.
Small purchases require 3 quotes. See, that doesn't go there.
Yeah.
Now that we've changed that, yeah.
But you did
Exceeding
pick up-
10,000, I'm gonna cut small purchases needing quotes and move it to 70503. That's where that goes now.
Okay.
So you have that one.
All right.
Yep.
What?
70506. We've added, instead of prepare, that the judge will, or whoever, the department head will obtain a purchase order. And then 70508, we have added this language because it Mike is purchasing disposable medical supplies from various
I don't
vendors.
see seven.
I don't see 70508.
I just I'm explaining.
Oh, you're just.
Yes, 70508 I just added.
Okay.
It covers the purchase of disposable medical supplies. That's what the EMS needs, and they go out and find the cheapest price they can buy. So we're asking that that be exempt from small purchase requirements, because he needs to get supplies from various vendors at different amounts.
Yep.
It might exceed 10 as a whole, but if you price Band-Aids versus masks, then it wouldn't be. So it makes it easier for Mike to go out and purchase disposable medical supplies.
Mike, does that purchase on the front end include the disposal back to that same company, or do you take them otherwise, other places?
No, what stuff we're talking about is like she said, just Band-Aids and C-collars and bandages.
But not the locked cabinet with any injections or anything like that?
No, the drugs, they won't take them back after they expire, so we just use them for training. We give some to VCTC for training. So, yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks.
This is something that we discovered had never been addressed in the code, how to purchase disposable medical supplies. And technically, we needed a way to allow him to go out and get the best price in the quickest way possible. And so we feel like this adding 70508 is the easiest way for him to do that. All right, on 801 on page 42, I have struck out any road engineer or county engineer and renamed it the Public Works Director for Roger.
Do we need to add anything about when needed hiring?
We can do that as.
We can do that, yeah.
Or we can do it, we can amend it as if we change it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Chapter 9.
We got one more on page 44.
And Julie, I guess it would be contract rather than hiring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, on 44, I struck county engineer with Public Works Director.
Page 44?
Yeah.
Just the same language.
Gotcha, yeah.
Okay, fiscal court proceedings, chapter 9. Don't know that we changed. Okay, 907 on page 47. Public Works in Parks. We don't have a Parks Committee, and I think we should strike that. I just caught that because Steve asked a question about the committees, if we should list each committee individually. And I'm happy to do whatever makes it easier for you. So I think what we would do is that animal control is its own committee, and sheriff's department and EMS is their own committees. And then 90701, if you go down, we have to advertise and make meetings accessible to the public. So I did add advertise in there. 90702, the committee chair shall report to fiscal court quarterly at the next regular scheduled meeting closest to when you've had your committee meeting. It used to be it was the second or the first or whatever, so we're just saying make your report closest at the next fiscal court meeting. Makes it a little easier for you.
So are you making changes to 9701 or are you recommending?
I'm recommending, I agree with Steve, let's just list each committee individually and not lump them together, because
That'd be
Curly
great.
may say, I don't want to have animal controls all the ways together. So, yeah. All right. 90703, the first meeting in January, every other year, the judge would reassign committees if they so choose, instead of July.
That was just
Because she
kind of
just did it in
error,
January,
wasn't
it makes sense to do it in January. 90705, you have to attend, you cannot miss more than 2 meetings where your stipend is withheld. And
Committee meetings.
Committee meetings. We want to add committee meetings in there.
With the exception of health condition, of course, it's quarterly, so it shouldn't happen that way.
Yeah. Okay, Okay, I had put at the bottom of page 49, an attendance policy for magistrates missing fiscal court, but I think, Steve, you felt it was already in Kara, so we may not need that.
There was a statute regarding that.
That
There
was
is,
just a note for
virtually
me, so
certain
we'll
there's a
strike that.
statute about it, yeah.
Okay, we'll strike that, I just wanted to ask.
And then that also goes back into the allowance of Zoom if somebody.
Right,
True.
we have
yes,
to-
and now we know how to do that legally, so.
Yeah,
You
Okay,
can't vote.
unless it's
unless it's advertised.
advertised that you're gonna be on Zoom. Chapter 10, page 51, Family Medical Leave Act 1005. We're adding the word eligible full-time employees are eligible for FMLA. You have to be eligible for that. 100603 is our designated holidays, and woohoo, we're adding 1/2 day for the Fridays of brass band. And why are we doing that? Because you can't get in and out of the courthouse.
And it's just, the Friday of the brass band, they were out here blocking off our parking lot while our employees still had a half a day to work. And it got to, so, there's other counties, other towns, when they're having a county festival, they close their courthouse. Some of them close all day, some of them close a half a day, and let everybody get out, work, go wherever they want to go or whatever. So I'm just suggesting that, in order to avoid that in the future, that we add that to let the employees go at noon on the Friday of the brass band festival.
But that includes
Everybody.
public works as well, or is it just people that work in the courthouse?
I
We
consider
talked about this.
courthouse,
Courthouse.
because it would include state employees. And they would have to be notified, prior that we're doing this and get it on their calendar too, because it would affect the court.
So do we offer the rest of the employees that wouldn't get a half day, a
How do we do it for
Comp-
Good Friday?
comp day kind of thing?
It's a given
Is that
holiday,
everybody?
but
Okay.
everybody.
All right.
You could say you have to take it out of comp time. I would probably, if it were me, go volunteer for brass band that afternoon. And maybe you say it has to come out
It
of
be a holiday.
comp time.
I think it's comp
But
time.
since it won't cover every employee, it's hard to make a county holiday.
It mainly just affects the courthouse employees, county and state.
Cover all employees.
Most holidays do.
Yeah.
But it's technically not a holiday.
But here's the problem with that, is sometimes Angie might have to deliver stuff for the brass band festival.
Yeah.
She would be working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Roger and them.
Yeah, Roger and them do that.
That would be considered comp time.
We gotta do something, and if you wanna table this idea and discuss later, we,
It's just
customers
something
could
we
not
need
get
to
into the
address,
courthouse.
because it's a huge problem
Yeah.
for traffic wise.
Right.
Well, I think if you guys have mitigated the traffic through the city for the last year, you can get through brass band, nothing, huh?
Well, they close all the
Well, they
streets
did it,
in.
yeah, they're doing it different now.
Well, they closed Third Street, you can still get in through Third. Like,
No, they block both ends of our parking lot.
Yeah, they block
They
30
block
and
both
40.
ends.
Yeah.
We couldn't get out either way unless we moved the
Because they didn't
time.
want people coming up and turning on Main Street, so they closed 30 and 4th.
okay, because I parked in
Yeah, we
the
couldn't.
parking lot here
Yeah.
on that Friday because the entrance to Third Street was open and I just came in. It was blocked on Fourth, but not on Third.
Yeah, well, it was blocked on Third, I think they came and unblocked it.
Unblocked.
So they came in and blocked it.
Yeah, so, it was bad.
But, if that, and that's gonna be the way it is from now on. I mean, this
Right.
traffic situation is gonna be, they're gonna be blocking roads, because they block Main Street at noon. And then they were supposed to come and block the rest of them, at 4, but they blocked them at 2. So, it's just a problem.
Yeah, no, I understand.
For our people.
I'm just trying to think all this out because on Friday, they block at Third Street. And they allow traffic to turn right from Main to Third. So that may just be a conversation you can still go up past the hospital on Third Street, past the hub, over Main, and still go straight, but you can't make a left on Main Street from Third, is what it is. So maybe this is a conversation that you have with the Brass Band Festival and say, don't block that parking lot, the Third street, so that way we can still get out. But then you offer that if somebody wants to take a half day on Friday because it's gonna get blocked or whatever, you offer them the comp time or whatever, they use comp time or whatever. I don't know, it's just kinda hard to not.
Essentially leave it up to department heads to decide that, if they want their employees
To leave, they
to
can.
leave, if they're in the courthouse?
Yeah, if they're in the courthouse, but if they leave, it's comp time, I guess,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that
Okay.
just wouldn't make it fair for the rest of the employees if they're, especially you got Roger and Angie back there where their employees are
What
working
do you
above.
think, Steve? I hear you
Well,
back there.
well, I'm sorry, I was asking, don't you have authority to close the courthouse for whatever reason?
Yeah.
By edict or whatever?
Yeah. Just say we're gonna
I'll
close.
just leave it like that.
Yeah.
Because they may change their parking, and their road closure next year.
Yeah, right, that's what I'm saying, it's,
So-
and I just wanna work around that.
Yeah, I know.
And make it easily.
It sounds like you already have the powers to do it. You
Yeah.
don't need to put it in here.
Okay,
I agree.
okay, all right, good deal.
I think in that spot, though, one of the holidays that I do think we need to consider adding for our employees is Juneteenth. And so I would suggest that we
It's already a federal holiday, so.
that we add Juneteenth as a county holiday.
Okay,
So if you look at M, I put it as whatever the state does. Are you saying you would like to go ahead and just set that
Well,
aside
the
as a
state
day?
does not have a statute.
Right,
Not
they
have
do
a
not,
do.
but if they do in the future, because we follow the state schedule, that's what
I would say, can we
Just-
do it without?
You
I think
can,
we
you
can do it
can,
as
you
a
can.
county.
We
I
can.
think we ought to
Counties
do
have
it
done
as a
it,
county.
yeah, we can.
All right.
So we would, okay,
So we're gonna take the
we'll
great,
just include that with all of the changes.
yeah,
I think that would go in there.
take the
and
Great Parade out as a holiday. Great
Right,
Parade.
right.
Okay.
That's a good point, because technically it's not a holiday.
Right.
All right. To add Juneteenth.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And that's the third.
It's June 19th, but I would
June
think it
19th.
would,
So it's not always gonna change, okay.
yeah.
Duh.
And if it's a weekend,
I'm with you.
if it's a weekend, I think it would be the Monday or Friday.
I think
Close
that's
to-
kind of where I was going, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's June 19th.
Monday.
Okay. And then it'll just follow, like our other holidays, if they fall on a Monday or a Friday, then it'll be the
Right.
same thing. Or on a Saturday or a Sunday, I mean,
Right,
yeah,
correct.
and it will either be the Friday or the Monday. Okay.
Yes.
All right, 1007, page 52. New employees report to Human Resources so that HR can collect any personnel record information they need. So instead of saying that the judge will designate, we are designating. HR is the first place. Page 53. Request for reimbursement must be completed by county employees and elected officials. This is for your reimbursement forms.
Under 1101B mileage rate, I don't know if Commonwealth of Kentucky has one rate. I know we use the DLG rate. I don't know if they're two different things or not.
I think the
It's usually
state,
set by the state.
state rate is the DLG
Is what
rate.
DLG uses,
Mhm.
okay. I just didn't double check.
Hey, while we're speaking of reimbursements, can we put the reimbursement form somewhere on a shared drive?
Sure,
Make it easier instead of bothering y'all.
sure. And it may need to say submitted to the county judge's office or committed, or committed, I'm gonna be committed here in a minute. Submitted to the finance officer.
Okay.
That's 110201, Julie, sorry.
Got it. Okay. Let's see where we are.
Can we change 1102.01 from 30 days to 180?
No. They have to have the bills in order to pay them on a timely basis.
I understand that.
If you wait 180 days, you could be into the next fiscal year and not get that previous fiscal year cleared out. We need them done on a timely basis. 180 days is way too much,
Yes.
way too much.
That's 6 months.
I'd like to put all my mileage in at one time.
I know you do, but we need it quicker than that.
You just like getting a big check.
Elena needs it quicker
I've
than that.
Last year was the first time I ever submitted mileage, so, in my previous term, I never did, so.
And especially if you have the form online now, you'll be able to just go on there and.
Well, that makes it easier.
Yeah.
And if we do the
Makes
4
it
month,
easier to do it 30 days.
I'll give you that, but let's make sure.
All right, here y'all go again.
Let's make sure that the form,
I love it.
Do we want to put it in the O drive, in the shared drive?
whatever drive we have access to, that just goes out there. But make it a writable form, a writable PDF, where we don't have to technically print it out or whatever.
It's just like when you get a bill at home, it says you have 30 days to remit payment.
You're pushing.
Same here.
All right.
The auditors state that
Yeah.
any bill we receive needs to be paid within 30 days. So,
Okay, maybe we just make it a standing payment then.
Next, Julie.
For chapter 12, 122002, we explained what KRS 39B is, and that pertains to mutual aid. Okay, 1300, page 55. Animal control, last sentence, an aggressive cat or dog by following fiscal court's adopted policies and procedures. Chapter 14, I think we didn't make any changes. Okay, that's it.
Accountabilities.
Okay, so let's go back to those. Where are we at?
Oh, we did do a change on 62, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and further on down, there's a couple.
Yeah, we changed it from the old name to the new name. The DBCDC.
Yes, I did, yes.
It just rolls off the tongue these days. huh?
Yeah,
Sorry about
DBCDC. I finally got it.
It's no longer the EDP. Okay.
Where we going back to?
Where are we at? Tom, what page? Help me here.
What page, Tom?
We'll just start all over.
I'm just saying that
Okay.
we were going to
Yes.
insert something to give the second set of eyes with accountability, and I don't know where you want to put that.
It was in the county administrator section.
So that would be on page, let's go back to page 17.
But it's not going to be there.
No, I know, but
Yeah,
that's where we
We're gonna add
were.
it, yeah.
That's who we thought the second set of eyes should be.
So,
Well, I think it's a collaborative effort because some things have my eyes on them, some things have Elena's eyes on them. Hey, be nice. And some things have Katina's eyes on them.
As long as it's not Barry's eyes.
It's sorry, not sorry, Barry.
It's soon to be 2010.
That's right.
so 30303, we're taking out administrative support of the finance offices, including tax admin.
What page?
17.
Yeah, 17. 30304, maintaining occupational software. That one can go. I don't, neither Trilly nor I maintain occupational software.
So you don't do 3303.
No.
I do assist the occupational tax office
Well,
with
okay.
collections and that,
Yeah.
but,
Okay, so let's leave that one in,
okay.
if the court agrees.
30304, I do not do. 30305, I do an analysis of tax collection at the end of the year. I did do that.
Is that B?
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much
yeah.
how the team was able to come up with over $600,000.
Exactly.
C, discussion of the budget instead of development of the budget. That worked well this year, having those budget
There.
meetings.
Budget meetings.
Yep, that's good.
That was good. Must be familiar with all areas, including payroll. This is now Elena is learning payroll.
Yeah. That falls under
There-
Who's,
finance officer.
who's our triple backup on that one? So Shannon's out, Elena's out.
To be determined.
I
We're gonna train Steve.
I will
Yeah.
probably, and
Right now, we've been getting about one person.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Two's
understand.
gonna
that.
be great, you know?
Okay. All right, so 6 doesn't need to be there.
Right, 6 and 7 need to go.
7 is gone, okay.
Yeah.
9?
Required to bill and manage accounts receivable, interlocal agreements, tax levied on net deposit. Do you do that?
I was gonna say, I mean, I have sent out a few bills lately to, because, and that's where, I think that's where some things have been confused. There are some things that would fit more with what Julie does, and there are some things that fit more with what I would do, but they're getting muddled. There's not a
And that's why the
defined reason.
That's why being defined is
Right,
what we need.
but some of these are in mine, some of these are in hers, some of them
are in both.
They're just.
Space leased by state agencies would be an example, would be AOC.
Yeah, I'd say taxes levied on net deposit and space leases by state agencies go to Darlene.
Okay.
The rest of it stays.
Hello, this is Daniel returning.
Yeah. Okay.
That, I mean,
So-
some things can just be separated out, because there are some things that she definitely does and handles, but there are some things that I do, and.
Yeah, so it sounds like that you just need to
Yeah,
break it up and have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, 30314, bond counsel financing, that would be with our bond expert.
Oh, there are 30314s.
Yeah, I know. The one that struck.
Okay.
Would that be?
That needs to go to Darlene's job description.
Okay.
That's something you don't do with?
I have, but I think she.
I would still think that would be under you. But
We haven't really had need to.
We haven't bonded anything since I've been here, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we haven't bonded anything.
are we getting ready to?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, my.
That's a process.
Right.
If you've never been through a bonding process, it's a process. And I would want to have as many knowledgeable people
We
on
can leave
that.
it in both. We can leave it in both.
I was gonna say, I don't have a problem with that. My problem comes in with the fact that if I'm doing some of this and it's not on my job description, it's on somebody else's job description, then, why am I doing it? Because I'm the one that's signing check, but there's a lot of different things that are in here. I'm the one that's signing checks, and I'm the one that's responsible for that. And if there's a major problem, I'm the one that gets in trouble for it. So if it's listed under somebody else,
Give me an example of what you're talking about.
then,
Which number are you giving me an example of?
it's just different things that.
But this is the
that
code.
pop up.
So
But-
this
right.
is where we fix those things, and there's not murky, muddy waters.
Well, that's
And that's kind of what we're going through here.
There have been some murky, muddy waters, and it's just to clarify and clear some things up, because they have been. It's like, are you gonna do it, or do I do it, or do we need to, who
Well, I mean,
needs
if we're
to
talking
do
about
what? So
14, it
that's what we're
says
talking about.
assist
Yeah,
county judge, executive, and county treasurer with bond counsel. So she's assisting. So to me, that would fall on the judge and you, and then Julie's there to assist you with that. But it's important for her to understand what her roles are,
right,
and for her to have an understanding as the county administrator what's going on.
right.
So this is not her taking it over, or just like, rock, paper, scissors for who does it. It's giving her an understanding of her responsibilities.
Right,
Per
and
our
I
code.
mean, and I agree with that,
Okay.
because she does so much of the writing, and
Correct.
frankly, I appreciate that so much, because then I don't have to do that part of it. So.
But
I
you
mean,
can't
that's-
expect her to,
Yeah,
you push something off on her that's not in the code or not her job responsibility, and just,
Right.
that's why it's important for stuff to be put in here.
So let's leave it under both.
but there have been so many things that are listed under her that honestly, I would look at it and go, there's not enough of you to get everything
Of
that's
course.
in here done.
No, I agree with that.
There's no way. So,
But if you give me a list of those
She gets
things,
overextended.
yeah.
well, yeah, just by Tom alone.
This speaks to the development of financial statements, maintaining the bond register, and the final wrap-up compliance paperwork. That would all be Darlene.
Which
So,
one?
Now, which one?
14, 15, and 16.
Okay.
14 is develop financial statements. Well, she would do that. 15, maintain a bond register. She would do that because it's part of the budget.
Correct.
16 would be the compliance transcripts and reporting. She would do that.
Okay.
So why don't we put something in here about assist with bond counsel financial during the issuance, because that would be something I would do.
Correct.
And then move the rest to Darlene.
Sounds great.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yes. 30316, financial information protections, health insurance activity, liability insurance activity, fiscal court meetings. Who's doing that?
Why is that? I would,
Are you?
Financial information protections. Well, and see, that's where I'm a little confused, because I would think that this would be some of what you would,
the health activity, yes.
as far as the health insurance activity and the liability insurances and so forth like that.
But see, I don't see a problem when it says works with county treasurer for the development.
But it's not
responsible for.
But it's not listed there, it's listed under
County
hers.
administrator, yeah, should be listed
So
under HR.
that's
Should be
where,
listed under HR.
Yeah, so I'll copy this over
HR.
and disperse it under the departments it goes to. Okay, and leave works with,
yeah.
and put the responsible for language under those departments, is that what you're saying?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's it.
So, but just to clarify, we are keeping 03
Yes. Yes.
and is it 06?
We're keeping
No.
both.
We're keeping B of 30305,
Yep,
Yes.
correct.
and we're gonna have 30314 in both. And the
Okay.
other ones have been specified to their actual department. So 15 and 16 are Darlene, I'm sorry, 15.
How about 9? What
We
was
got
9?
2 30315s and 2 30316s.
We're gonna divide 9 in half.
9's gonna get divided, okay.
And I'll sit down with Julie and Darlene, and we'll make sure that if it's something getting cut in one area, that it's being assigned to another area.
Correct.
We'll go back through and review that,
Make a note,
just to make sure.
we gotta renumber this, because we
Yeah.
have duplicates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I left the duplicates so they knew that we were taking them out.
Okay,
We
gotcha.
numbered the new stuff. So
Gotcha,
that's
gotcha.
why it's skipping over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I get what you all want. We'll make sure that every duty that's being taken from one is put somewhere else. I get what you're saying.
Thank you.
All right, so now comes the question. Are you all ready to approve the administrative code with changes?
We've got 2 magistrates missing right
Oh, well, we have a form.
now. Do we wanna, I was gonna say we wanna talk with Steve, but we let Tommy go. Here comes Jamie.
No way. No way are we letting Tommy go. Tommy's here to stay.
Good. We need another Tommy. Right.
Okay, Master Gay, I asked if you all are ready
My brother
to
Darryl, my other brother Darryl.
approve the administrative code as presented with changes as presented.
Yep.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Magistrate Bodner.
Second.
Second by Magistrate Gay.
Speaker got it.
To approve the administrative code with changes as presented and discussed. Is there any discussion on the motion?
I have a question. No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Julie and Darlene. Okay, next up, Steve Griffin, come on down.
The Planning and Zoning Commission is funded obviously by you all in the city of Danville equally. They've come to us and asked, because I'm not sure, 3 or 4 years ago, the city commission had always funded their health care. They dropped their coverage on that because they couldn't, either they changed carriers or something, and their carrier would not cover non-employees. And so they started, it was coming out of the budget, their normal budget, planning and zoning's budget, which is out of our money and out of the city's money. They have asked, rather than do that, if we could pick them up. So I've reached out to our administrative services, which is Aspirant, and as well as our stop loss, and they're working on to see if they can do that or not. I think they've changed the language in the administrative services to do that. The stop loss carrier has asked that we ask the 2 employees who would be covered to fill out a health care questionnaire to make sure there's no expensive things going on that they'd have to pick up. So the question is, they're wanting to know if Boyle County would pick up their coverage under our plan and go from there. So that's the question. If they're approved by our stop loss and our administrative services organization, will we pick that up? Or do we want it to come out of their normal budget?
What's your all's discussion on
I'm
that?
fine picking them up if possible. Would the city be willing to come in on some cost on this?
That's up to the city. The city dropped them previously, and I don't think it was an issue with the previous administration on the, who was the, Steve, Steve, what was his last name? Hunter, thank you. He didn't necessarily argue much about it with me or anybody that I'm aware of, because he was under his wife's plan, I believe, so he didn't affect him one way or the other. It affected his other employee who was there, so.
Elisa.
Elisa, yes. So, I don't know, the city would have to speak for themselves as what they would cover.
No, I agree with Magistrate Cullen on that I think we need to, if we can, and I think it's something we ought to be able to.
I mean, just
bring in
adding
and
2
do.
more people, it's not a.
What does Rusty, how does Rusty get?
Rusty's our employee.
He's county employee.
Of course, the city right now, well, they offer office space,
Yeah.
Rusty's down there, and so this might be a little bit of balance.
That might make
Yeah.
this position more lucrative, if there ever were a change, and that certainly is an added benefit for a new director, or to keep the one we have.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we ought to pursue it, and
Yeah,
as long as
fine.
it's good with the, all the people you're talking with.
Sure, okay.
So you'll come back and report on that, or do you want?
Well, they're working on it now, and they're filling out the questionnaires now, so, if maybe the motion is if that's all approved, can you all approve that?
Do we want to have the questionnaire back before we go ahead and approve anything?
Well, if they won't approve it, then your approval is moot at any point.
Okay.
If the profit and loss won't
Yeah,
approve
the
it.
stop loss won't
Stop
approve
loss,
it,
okay.
it's moot.
Sherrill Morgan, is that?
No, the stop loss is, what's our stop loss? I know, I can't think of the
I can't
name.
remember.
Starts with an O, I believe.
Okay.
So we want to make a motion to approve adding the planning and zoning employees to the county's health insurance plan, provided the stop loss company approves.
Are there any other entities in Boyle County like this that we might have to pick up later on because?
The only other ones we fund would be EDP, or what do you call it now? EDPDC. What other, I don't know what else we fund.
Well, look in the back of your,
There you go, Julie.
No, I mean,
Would they be reimbursing
senior
us?
center, not, that's not,
No.
No, those are just,
groups.
yeah.
Would they be reimbursing us, or would it just
The airport
be?
part of it or no?
They will pay the payroll deduction rate, whatever that is.
Okay.
And it's just, they don't have any dependents, so it's just 2 people.
62.
yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
make that
I would
motion.
think EDP's the only other one that might.
Okay. All right, we have a motion on the floor by Magistrate Gay. Second? Second?
No, I was waiting for clarification, so
Oh.
it's just
Just those
Development
the only two
Corporation.
joint entities that we fund. We fund DBC, EDC, and we fund planning and zoning jointly. I can't think of anybody else.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out, because this could be a,
Because CDB is funded through tax money, the Extension Office is a state agency, the Fire Board is its own taxing district.
Can it wait for 2 weeks to the next meeting?
Yeah, I won't have that back yet, so it's,
Oh, still.
we
I
can
mean, I'm
plan.
thinking of who comes to us for funding even.
Okay, that's fine.
and that's what I'm trying to
I
determine.
mean, they have coverage now, but they're purchasing it, so it's expensive, more expensive than.
Let's,
Is this something would kick in January, or would it kick in immediately?
It'd kick in immediately, yes.
Okay. Yeah, looking at our speeches, the only one that's even close to relevant is Development Corporation.
I can bring it back next month.
And we'd have to probably make a budget amendment, Darlene. We're gonna add more.
We may, yeah, we may want to.
Unless we
wait till
already have
July.
enough to cover it, like if it's, inflated a little bit for
No,
things that we may not be aware of.
No, we just like
I was
adding
gonna
employees.
say, yeah,
Okay.
we'll just be adding employees, we'll
Okay.
take them through the general fund.
Which
Just
everybody
making sure.
agrees that it's good to offer them this, this service, but you want to know the full extent of
Sure.
what you're getting into before you
Absolutely.
say you want to.
The difference, as I'm sitting here thinking, the difference in the Development Council and Planning and Zoning is Planning and Zoning has two revenue sources, city and county, and then their fees. DBCDC does fundraising, and they have corporate donations, they have, the banks and that fund them. So there is some difference in the structure of the two. There is nobody else like Planning and Zoning, if you wanted to use that as your benchmark.
Okay. All right.
Structure-wise. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor that can be withdrawn, or we can have a second for Magistrate Gay's motion.
I really think we need to go ahead and move this forward for them to be able to,
Immediately or July 1 for the new budget?
well, July 1
July
is
1.
Saturday.
I understand that, but if we vote on it right now, it'll happen
Well,
right
it won't
now.
be,
Well, it won't be
It won't be
continued.
effective.
Yeah.
It's gotta be approved by the stop law, so that's my motion.
But then it could go back and be retro back, so.
Yeah, so I just think it's
I think
just
you need
time
to put a
move
date
it.
on it.
Well, we would put the date on it when it
I would put a
starts.
date on it, yeah, just like a new employee. We hire them, this is our employee or not our employee, but our coverage starts that day.
Once
Yeah.
approved.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Magistrate Gay, a second by Magistrate Bodner. Is there any discussion on the motion to approve adding planning and zoning to the county's health insurance plan? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
I'd like to be recorded as abstaining because I missed most of the conversation on it for an urgent call.
Okay.
So
All
they
right,
would-
I did not get a complete vote on that, so
So they would not,
we're gonna do roll call vote.
just health benefits.
Just healthcare, yes.
We're not
Measure
offering-
Bodner?
We're not offering any other benefits.
Yes. Magistrate Harmon?
Yeah.
Magistrate Cullen?
Yes.
Magistrate Gay?
Yes.
Magistrate Slater?
Yes.
Motion carries. We have
Thank you.
majority. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. Okay, next we have Fleet Management, Tommy Robertson.
All right, so, last 6 months, for parts, we purchased $35,247.10. If we was to sub it out before I was here, it would have costed an additional $17,000. Your labor, we billed out 620 hours. If we would have subbed that out, it would have cost you $77,000. So those two savings together was $46,500.
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Thank you. So your parts and labor both together, we saved $64,123.55. Down here on the bottom, Bob Allen, one of our cruisers had to go to Bob Allen. They took it over there to see what was wrong with it. Come find out it needed a fuel pump. They was gonna charge us $1,200 to do it. We did it for $377. So we saved $822.36. One of our ambulances, the wheels on the back was put on by another company. And ultimately the lug nuts all fell off. So nobody was injured. The employees that was driving let me know that they heard something rattling. So we checked it out and we found that the lug nuts all fall off. So I repaired the truck. We didn't have any issues.
You have a partner back here that's saying we.
My bad. Yeah, 3 years of. But,
Got that little mouse in your pocket.
yeah. So.
You know the cause of the problem. Teach your people how to do a walk around.
Yeah.
Check the truck.
Well,
They found it.
Yeah, Mike has been he's been on his employees, to
have them come to me, write it up, anything. And we've caught a lot of stuff because he's been on them. Because before they just let it go. Unfortunately, that's the way it was. But so we did recoup $1,228 off of that from the company that did that. Then under that, we got $37.39. That was a bill that was done through Lexington, one of the dealers up there. We had our big loader taken up.
For a year? For a year?
Yeah, for a year. They had it almost a year, 2 different times. Actually, it was over a year, but so I went over the billing, and that's what I found that didn't jive. So they refunded us, or we didn't have to pay that much. So total this year, we saved roughly about $69,912.91, or the 6 months, and then the first 6 months I was here was $61,358.38. Total for the year I've been here, $131,271.29 roughly saved.
I'd say you've earned your keep.
There's nothing like job satisfaction, being satisfied with what you do, and thank you, because you've got to sleep well at night.
I do. I absolutely.
Work hard enough, of course he's.
I love working here. Everybody I've talked to, everybody that I deal with, has just been wonderful. Everybody. Nobody's been mean at all. But
do you have all the diagnostic tools and equipment?
We're fixing to get them.
We're working. It's in the budget.
Yeah, it's in the budget.
July 1.
Right.
And so,
He's already got his Amazon cart full.
So from the building that is being built, and they've already broke the ground on it, so it's just a matter of just getting it done. So
Well, we
I'll be in that in no
appreciate
time.
you, and we appreciate everything that you do.
Well, I got an ambulance to take care of, so I gotta go.
Sorry we kept you so long.
That's all right.
About the only thing that we're sending out now is tires to be balanced and rotated and all that stuff, and hopefully we'll be able to fix that soon. Something else that we did this past week was we installed our bariatric equipment back in our ambulance, which is something that we're just waiting to do because we didn't really have anybody to do it because the road department guys are too busy to try to take out a project like that. So last week we got our bariatric truck going, and it lifts up to 1,200 pounds patients, and so that's another plus. Tommy's been doing all of our power load system installed from one truck to the other, so he's helped us out a bunch. I appreciate everything he does.
And I was going to say, I also wanted to add that with our fixed assets, that we will soon, very, very, very soon, hopefully have things going. Tommy will actually be able to pull up the vehicles in that and be able to write down in the system what's been done, when and how, and so everybody that can access fixed assets will be able to see those positives.
Yeah, we may need to look at seriously having another Tommy at some point, so that way everybody outside of EMS can actually have their vehicles looked at. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's worked out good with once we have the new trucks in service, it's went way down. We've not. What do you say it is now? Ours is what?
Oh,
70% now compared to 100.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a real big help.
If you find a way to clone yourself, let us know.
I'm sorry?
If you find a way to clone yourself, let us know.
On days when Tommy needs help, Tim or I or somebody from our department we have to go help him, and so I think that'll get us through for at least a while.
Once we get the new building done and we get settled in, we very well may need to look at a second person just for safety reasons, having them, 2 people there all the time, that's very good. That's something to definitely look at.
And I'm just throwing this out there, but any chance, we have our work release crews going, is there anybody that possibly is there that might be able to assist, or is that too much?
No, too much liability.
Okay, all right.
Too much liability.
Okay.
I got Mike, so.
That's enough liability.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
God bless. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Thanks.
See y'all next time.
Before we move into magistrate reports and comments, I just want to recognize that Mayor Ekins and Councilman Series is here today. We appreciate you all being here in our meeting. So in case you all decide to get up and leave before I get to the end.
We're gonna leave for
You gotta eat lunch sometime, I know.
No.
All right, Magistrate Gay, we'll start with you today on magistrate reports and comments.
All right, I do want to give the report from the Environmental Services Committee meeting that was held on June 19th. It was Angie, myself, and Magistrate Sleeper.
Roger, where you going?
We're there.
Can I go red screen?
Raise your hand.
Check
Can I get a hall pass?
Hurry back now, here.
We didn't see him leave.
Yeah.
You can't see him, dude. You're
No.
bad Barry.
We talked about the grants that have been awarded, the recycling totals, which the total revenue received for the great job that Angie does in marketing our recyclables from January to May was a total of $56,147.75, and that's for OCC, which is cardboard, metal, aluminum,
Glass.
plastics, no glass,
No glass.
no glass, please, no glass.
And there's a big story that was out there about that's how they fixed the bridge that went down on
That's how
95.
they fix everything here in town.
We had a OSHA inspection done, and really it was a good report, other than the fact that Angie at the time could not find the MSDS sheets, which have now been corrected, and that's been rectified. Then we already talked about the dead animal removal policy and procedure. We talked about that day as well. The Alum Springs Convenience Center. Angie, help me out there. What was, I have my little report here.
I asked a question about that, but that was
Oh.
that it, about the brush?
Okay,
That might have been what you got in there.
Okay, yeah, there you go. And that's the report from Environmental Services, and that's all I have.
All right, thank you,
I
Magistrate Gay.
make a motion, we approve that report.
Okay, have a motion to approve Magistrate Gay's report. Is there a second?
Second.
I was gonna say, you're not gonna second.
Second by Magistrate Moser. All
She
right.
had her hand up.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
The teacher in me, I can't help it. I have to raise that hand. I try not to, but I have to.
Okay, Magistrate Sleeper.
Okay.
It's the summer, you're off.
The Animal Control Committee met yesterday, June 26th. Magistrate Gay, myself, and Christina Lombardo, the Animal Shelter Director, and Jessica Joseph, Animal Control Officer, and Elias Delbridge, Animal Control Officer, are present. The animal control officers have reported that they've had a significant increase over the last quarter in terms of calls regarding animals, but they said that's pretty typical with this time of year with the warmer weather and the spring breeding season. Calls regarding domestic dogs has remained steady, but the increase is primarily wildlife calls, primarily deer, raccoon, and coyote. There was actually a coyote that was trapped caught in a fence over on Boone Trail, so right in town here. So approximately 80% of the dog-related calls come from Danville, the city of Danville, and Junction City. There are currently 8 dogs in the shelter. I relayed to the ACOs that some reports I'd been receiving lately regarding running dog problems in Bluegrass Estates, and so they're going to increase their presence in that neighborhood to kind of curtail that some, to control that. It was reiterated the dog licenses are to be issued at the shelter, and along with that, July 1, dog tags, so get your dog tags. Like Magistrate Gay has it. Magistrate Gay has it.
I got my dog tag, jingle.
I haven't got mine yet. So.
And how much are those dog tags?
It's a whopping, as long as you've got a healthy spayed or neutered dog, it's the whopping price of $5.
$5, okay.
And then the ACOs also indicated a need for some basic small tools that they're going to need on their trucks when they're, like, for example, an animal's caught in a fence or something, they need bolt cutters, things like that. So we instructed them to compile a list of these minor tools that they need presented to us. So, and that's it. So I make a motion to accept the Animal Control Committee report.
Second.
Okay, motion by Magistrate Sleeper, second by Magistrate Gay. Any discussion on the report? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, Magistrate Ellis.
Thank you, Judge. Start with a jail committee report. We met on June 21st at 8 a.m. At that point, we had 68 inmates for Boyle, 22 Mercer, 100 state, and 2 other. Great news, James Hunn has gotten his second 100% score for his reentry program, and that's just extraordinary. I'm not sure, there might be 2 or 3 others in the state who've now gotten 100%, and that is really an amazing achievement. We now have 36 deputies, 5 open positions, 2 are in training. 9 of our deputies have less than 6 months in service, so that's something we always need to consider. But as the jailer reported this morning, the compensation has helped tremendously in recruiting, so that's good news. 1 full-time deputy is going to start on the 5th, and the possibility of a part-time also starting on the 5th. We're losing 1 deputy for health issues. The jail management software change back to where we were is now in progress, as is an inmate communication system transfer. The gas oven is in and working, and had a dishwasher heater installed for $3,500, and that is the extent of my report, and I would make a motion for approval.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the jail report by Magistrate Ellis, second by Magistrate Gay. Any discussion?
That gentleman needs to sign.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
I hope everybody received from KCO the information about the annexation task force of legislators. I got a personal note from the head lobbyist for KCO hoping that I would come, and I have signed up. That's going to go on monthly all the way through October. And so others who want to go with me, anything we can learn about that moratorium. We have over 415 very interested cities, Mayor, on annexation issues. And of course, we want to be well represented in that task force. So I'll be going every month to that, and would love to have somebody ride with me if you'd care to.
And I have a list of those dates if anybody needs them. They're also on the
I'll
KCO
send you what I got
newsletter.
from KCO, yeah. Again, thank you for the storm tree removal that happened on the urgent situation we had earlier. Potholes, I'm still getting reports, and I hope you are too. We had 1 constituent on Caldwell because there's a rise where you don't see what's coming. And because this other individual was probably speeding, because that happens a lot on Caldwell and Irvin, cutting through to get to the bypass. And this gentleman lost an $1,800 mirror because the person coming over the rise was avoiding that pothole and in the middle of the road. And it's just amazing that there wasn't a serious accident, that he only lost the mirror that cost him a lot of money, or hopefully he's going to get compensation from the person who was speeding in the wrong position. I say these every year when we have major events coming. The Turtle Derby is July 22nd, so I hope you'll put that for Perryville on your calendars. And I was hoping that Matthew Ellis would still be here, because every year about this time I announce that the Forkland Christmas pageant in December, and it's usually the 2nd Saturday in December, but please make sure and come this year. There's a pageant and a wonderful dinner. All the children in Western Boyle County are servers. It's just a tremendous event, and hopefully we'll get some corporate tables that we haven't had in the past this year. So thank you, Judge. That's the extent of my report.
All right, thank you so much. Magistrate Bodner?
Okay, I just wanted to mention that at our last training, I did have a chance to look at playground equipment, and that was really fun. And enlightening about the price of it. Julie, we haven't heard from that grant or anything yet. We've still applied for the grant for the Junction City Park, and I'm hoping to get that. In 21, they listed Kentucky second, and childhood obesity, the rate second. And so these parks that I keep talking about are not just, oh, let's just have a park. It's to increase our activity, not as just children, but adults also. So it's a health issue for us. I did mention, I already told Rogers, thanking him for the work they've done. I've got an appointment with Josh Morgan Thursday to talk about the two parks and to kind of pick his brain about some things. Angie gave me 2 names for stormwater permitting, to contact them about the stormwater permitting. And one of them was John Paul Beard. So I chose John, my son's name is John Paul. He goes by John now, but I call him John Paul. So I chose him, and I just got the information yesterday, so I just emailed him yesterday to kind of enlighten me on what that does for us. I had one constituent to call, email and say they have, and I've seen this, the geese that are in front of Wilderness Trace that walk across the road. She's been watching them since they've been born, and they've been getting killed because of the traffic. And she was wondering about a sign that, I don't know if you could get a sign, but it's also a safety issue. There's a hill before and after. So the safety issue, Roger, I was going to talk to you about that. I don't know what we can do about it, but we could maybe discuss it later and talk about that.
That would have to come from the state.
Yes,
Sign.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then
July. We can request one.
Yes, we can ask. I thought I'd talk to somebody that knew more about it than I did. July the 2nd, I think, is fireworks at Junction City, isn't that right, Jason?
That's correct.
And so that will be at the Junction City Park. And this brings up this little packet that I gave some of you guys. It's just, I got some sad news. Steve called me Friday and said there's no go on the bike park. And I said, okay, well, let me check into it. And I said, could you send me some information? So the first 3 pages are just the emails where Angie tried to find out, what could happen there. And so the last one, if you'll see the 3rd page, it says potential 6-figure cleanup from costs if you built something. And so I thought, so I wanted to talk to this guy. So I called Derek. First I called Tony Wilder. And he gave me an extensive history on the history of the closing. And they went beyond they did everything possible to close it appropriately, and even hooked a sewer line to get the leach it I can never say that word. And they did a really good job of closing it. So I called Mr. Polly up, and we talked for a very long time, and he said, yes, if you're digging down, there is a very big potential for a big expensive cleanup. But if you're building up, he used building down or building up. He said, if you're building up, and I described exactly what we were planning to accomplish, and he said, he'd be glad to help us with that. I said, well, I've got 2 conflicting here. You see the first 3 pages. The last pages are my contacts, and I bought a new printer, and it did not print well from my phone. It will not print from my computer.
It's easier to see.
So, yeah, I said, well, Mr. Polly, I've been getting some information from a Miss Tammy Hudson. And I said, do you know her? And he said, yeah, she's my boss. And I said, well, she's been saying, he said, oh yeah, if you're building up, there's not a problem. I'd love to be involved with it. If you're going to pursue the project, I would love to be involved with it, and just let me know. And he thinks it's great because he said, this is what they're doing with these empty land that we can do nothing with. However, there's a lot of space there for things you can do, and it is a health issue that we can address in our county and possibly bring money in. Heads and beds, all those things, getting money to come in, because bike parks are a really big attraction. And it's not like motorbikes, it's just bicycle and walk park, that we're looking into. So I've got, he said, oh yeah, if she sent you the information saying it's okay, and I thought, well, we need a little something y'all can keep, because this is not going to happen in the next month or 6 months. This is a long-term thing, so I thought maybe this little packet would help you all keep some things, and if I gather more information, I'll give it to you, so you know, so we'll have it. We don't know how long it'll happen.
So there's a possibility then that we
Yes, we've got
can
a
proceed.
to look into it,
A possi-
absolutely.
okay.
And I've got many more check marks on my little list of checking this, so we're far from saying, let's go do it, but we're getting closer, we are getting more, you know, just like Tammy Hudson, Miss Hudson had told us that it's, you know, it is a viable way to use that land. So we've got one thing out of the way, now we just need to go to, and I'm loving doing every bit of it. I enjoy doing it because, number one, Alum Springs Convenience Center is a fourth of a mile down the road,
Yeah.
you know, my little neighbor. And I think it'd be as a nurse, I'm a registered nurse, I think it's such a great thing for, you know, a health thing for our community. Plus, money may be back in.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, you may.
When you say build up, what do you mean build up?
If you go in, you don't dig down.
You don't penetrate the ground.
You don't, go ahead.
No, I understand that.
I went to we had dumps in Danville. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but I went around to see those sites. And as I looked at the Michael Smith site, it's such a beautiful site. They've got playground equipment on it. They've got a tennis court on it. So what's the difference in having a tennis court on an old dump? And Norfolk Southern has a building and a big oil tanker, big huge thing that has oil or something in it. So I'm thinking, I'm seeing all this stuff built. What's the difference in putting a little blacktop, you know, area around? What is the difference? And you know, there's the people that are in charge of saying, yes, it's, you know, okay to pursue it, have said, yes, it's okay.
Have we heard back from the wastewater permit people?
I just got those names yesterday.
Okay,
so
all right.
I will.
That's
I'll
our
work
next
with it.
step.
So-
Yes.
Okay.
And I still have other steps after that.
So my question is, you know I'm on board with this, I like it, but I'm
Yes.
just trying to understand.
No, I appreciate the questions.
So we're building up,
Right.
but does that mean each year we'll have to add to it?
No.
Because when you do
No, it's sealed.
It's- okay.
Talk with Tony Wilder. I mean, he gave me a lot of good information that I'm not gonna bore you with because you can each talk to him.
Anyone tells you with trails, the more use on it, it starts actually digging down into the ground. That's why I asked, will we have to add to it at some point?
I mean,
Because bikes
wear and
will
tear.
wear and tear in the road.
Yeah,
And that's why I was making
absolutely.
sure.
I would say yes.
That's probably
I would
something
say
that, for future years, when we do this, we need to
Absolutely.
make sure it's part of a budget where we add stuff to it.
Absolutely, yes.
So-
Yes, I thought you meant every year.
Paul, on that point though, if we've been told that we exceeded, and that sounds to me like if it was required 3 feet of clay, we might have put 4 feet of clay in it, then that would be a question to ask the EPA folks, because we might not in 100 lifetimes erode down from bikes or anything going on. I had a couple of good points. Number one, am I correct that Danville owns adjoining property that also can be?
No, this is, but the whole convenience center is owned by Danville and Boyle.
Okay, but I thought there was another 30 or 40 acres separate from that.
There's 82 acres altogether for that is purchased by
we-
Danville and Boyle counties.
So we can collaborate on that.
Right.
And then the other idea is, I'm sure that if you were going to put certain kinds of pavilions in, they would go into the ground with posts to secure. But if you went up, I've never been up in the woods up there, but you could put a pavilion up there because that was
Yes.
never touched by the.
Yes, there are certain areas that, you know, you could do
So
some things.
you could dig.
And with, you know, this bike park, my husband and I are gonna make a little trip to Lancaster County, Ohio, and see they have an old landfill, and it's now a beautiful park. And so I'm gonna go up and look at it and try to talk. I've gotta first find out who did it and see who I can talk to, but I'm gonna investigate it and see what things I might need to continue looking into. But it's a long process, but I'm in for the long
But,
run. All right.
Paula, to your point, I just spent the last 4 days in Montana, and 3 out of those 4 days, I was at bike parks, and we went hiking. It was like first thing we did was, and we went to several different places hiking, and trails and parking lots were full of people out there hiking.
Exactly.
I'd like to correct one slight mischaracterization about what you said. I said,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't say it was a no-go. I said we have a potential problem here with it because there's a potential 6-figure. We need to be aware of that
Yes.
as we pursue.
Yeah, you said, what you said was, I'm trying to think, which, I was like, oh, immediately, you said there's a little hiccup.
Yeah.
And then you said, no, I better restate that, it's not gonna be able to happen, that's what you said.
No, I didn't say it wasn't gonna be able to happen, I said if there's this potential of
With the extension of the money
six-figure, yeah.
involved, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only reason.
So I'm all in favor of it.
Yes, I know you are, you're a bike enthusiast, so.
You got full court.
Where you going,
support.
Steve?
All right, we have.
You're up.
Thank
Thanks, Mayor.
you all.
Yes,
All right.
Good man.
Magistrate Harmon.
Mayor, you doing all right?
Hey, Steve, I do have a question.
After court.
Don't I get a?
After,
Magistrate
yeah,
Harmon.
Magistrate Harmon's next.
I know, but I had a question for him.
Oh, well, okay.
I'll text.
If you didn't know, in District 3, we had the Boyle County Fair. And I will say, living across the road, down just a little bit, never did know it was there.
Wow.
And they handled traffic very well, and everything was left clean. And they're looking maybe to purchase that parcel of land through there, make a permanent site. But it was good to see the fair continue on.
It was.
And I hope it does.
Yeah. They did an excellent job. Our people
Yeah.
did an excellent job helping build those tracks and getting it all ready. And
Yes.
the fair board, Ryan Owens and the fair board did an excellent job in keeping everything going and making it happen. So, yeah.
They did.
Kudos to a collaborative effort.
That's amazing.
I will have cataract surgery the last Friday of this month, or next month, July, be on the left eye. Then August, get the second one done.
Get a cool patch.
And I will be unofficially, or officially, sight again.
Yay.
Won't be blind.
I believe there's something biblical in there. All right.
I feel bad you're going to have to look over there. What do you want to see?
No, he's gonna be scared about what he's been sitting next to.
Robin Moon.
Is that all
I'm
you're
not
reporting?
talking about Magistrate Boulder
Thank you.
either.
All right, Magistrate Cullen, last but not least.
Definitely not. So, 4th of July, we have the fireworks for Danville at Millennium Park. They'll start at dusk. And then, where's my notes here? Thanks to Public Works for their hard work on the fair and also the storm system that came through. On 52, we had a tree about the size of that podium that went down, and there was about 10 different utility trucks out there trying to get their lines back up, and so, you know, I know these guys were hard at it right away. If you saw the paper this morning, there is a new service coming to Boyle County, which I'm extremely excited about. Hope to get more information on it, but it's called Bluegrass Ride. It's part of the Bluegrass Community Action. And it will be right now they're going to have 3 stops, so it's buses, 14 passenger buses that will have 3 stops throughout Danville is what it said. Hoping one of those will be out to BCTC, but we can work on it. It's a start. But it's 14 passenger buses. They're hiring right now $15 an hour, full-time and part-time. And so as soon as they start getting those buses staffed, they'll start running them in the community. Best part about it is it's a free fare.
That's awesome. I haven't seen
so-
that, so that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's really exciting. It's something we've talked about for a couple of years. Thanks to Judge, we're starting to get somewhere, hopefully, on some speed limit signs on Goggin. Maybe a little pilot program for the rest of the community, but hoping to get some ones that tell you how fast you're going and you don't realize how fast you're going. So hopefully that will be the pilot program right there. And then for Public Works, I had a question, and Roger and I talked about this a little bit. We go out and we'll cut down trees, we'll do this or that come into the right of way, but we don't charge for that. You know, if Angie has some overgrowth of grass and we have to go cut it after we've given them notice, we go ahead and charge that person for that. It's not right for the taxpayer to to bear that. So, you know, we have a couple instances where I've gotten calls on some trees that have kind of come out into the road, and we'll go along and cut those. And I just think it's not fair to the taxpayer that we continue to pay for that, and then that property owner has no bill for that. So I don't know if maybe it's something we want to discuss going forward, that if we have to go out there and do that, a lot of it's tree trimming.
Well, we have to make note if it's on their property, and then the limbs off that tree are overgrown out onto the road.
Creating a hazard.
That's what we're talking about.
Creating a hazard.
We're not talking about trees that's on our right of way. We're talking about trees that's
in somebody's property.
Private owner.
Somebody's property that
Correct.
all hung out over the road. That's what we're.
That's what he and I have been
talking about.
discussing. So it might be something we want to figure out, because where it holds up our guys or our people from being able to do the regular scheduled stuff when they have to go out there and attend to these other things. That's really not the county's responsibility. But
Maybe the Public Works Committee bring a proposal to fiscal court.
that would be fantastic. Thank you guys for
let's do,
volunteering.
Roger, because up and down Perryville Road, I've been there 22 years, and there's real sensitivity when whomever is hired for the utilities, they don't ever notify the people who live on Perryville Road. And I think we ought to have a system of notification and say, this is what we have to do. We'll be there next week or the week after, so that they're not surprised they come home and their prized tree has just been lopped off without any discussion.
We run into that a lot. It's their tree till it falls in the road.
Yeah.
You know, but we get into that a lot. Where the overgrowth is on there, and we'll go through there and maybe long arm it or cut it back, whatever. Well, we're getting a phone call that, hey, you destroyed my tree. Well, it was out in the road. What? But it's my tree. Well, you get into that.
And that's
that situation.
Right.
And
that's why you give notice that we need you to do this, or else we're going to do it.
Exactly.
And that's
I agree with that.
That's what Angie does.
There's no.
We need to implement a
There's
plan.
no system. I don't know about charging or whatever, but I believe that would be something
At least a
that we could
notification.
send to them on notification. Say, look, here's the problem.
You cut it or we will.
Or then you get back to the point, if we come and do it, then we're going to charge you, this, or you get it done, one of the.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff you can talk about.
Who's Public Works Committee? Tom and
Barry.
Tom and Barry, okay. Won't you all meet with Roger and implement a plan and bring it to the court and we'll see what happens?
We can talk.
You can wait until you get your good eye, Barry.
Get the air saw and let's stop. Throw them in the trunk.
All right.
Change to benefits for the fiscal year. Have we thought about doing that? Changing, because we do benefits from January to December, but our fiscal year is July to June. And so if we ever have to make a change, like the one we're getting ready to make, or the one we made before, we do it midstream, and that tends to be a little bit of an issue. So has there been any thought about maybe changing benefits to a fiscal year? Can we do that?
Thank you, sir.
I haven't thought about it, but.
I can speak to it.
Does it make sense?
Okay.
Where I was before we did that, most insurance companies do not like that. They want to go by calendar year.
Okay.
And so we actually had to transition to calendar year to meet up with them, because they were wanting to stop deductibles July 1, restart deductibles. It became it was missing.
Yeah, I don't know why the insurance agencies do that, because it was the same way at Center, where, Center operates on a fiscal year as far as their budget, but our health benefits went on the calendar year. So it's just, I don't know, it's just a weird dynamic, but it's a good question and good thought, that's for sure.
I mean, we did it for several years, and it was okay. They just started getting more and more uncooperative with that. So we had to change.
All right. Well, if that ever becomes the case where they get in line, then
Yeah.
I think that probably would make a lot more sense for organizations like us. So,
I agree.
anyway, that's it.
That it? All right, well, thank you very much. Okay, county attorney comments.
Yes, so the only thing we had, Chris has been working on the bonds from Center College, the $59,430,000 Kentucky Educational Facilities revenue and refunding revenue bonds. He has provided a series of emails. He's worked closely with Mark Franklin at Dinsmore and Scholl in Louisville, and that all of that was done in compliance with all regulations, statutes, everything was done truthfully and on the up and up, I guess, to best of his knowledge. And so that it went public on June 22nd, so sent out I guess it's a letter approving it or
It's just kind of after the fact because we've already approved and it's already closed and everything, but this is Chris's opinion that everything was good and with what we did and we did everything correctly, so, yeah, thank you.
That's good.
Judge, forgive me, I've got two pretty important things that I should have reported earlier. I know Julie and I are talking about, and I think Jason too. Number one, we're revising the Constitution Square contract.
Yep.
And there's some assumptions being made that I don't think the court necessarily wants to go along with. So, Julie, are we going to try to meet, can you meet this after? Right after the
We're
meeting?
meeting after fiscal court.
I heard lunch was involved.
And we can't make much progress, so we can just talk. And then the other is, the solar situation in Mercer is grave right now. And they've even postponed one of their community meetings so that they can gather more information. And ultimately in August, there's going to be a major decision made one way or another. I've gotten in the information from a couple of other counties. And it's good information, but I think we can even make a solar statement in our planning and zoning even stronger. And I think that one, it has some urgency to it, that we work up some language that Julie and I have talked about.
Did we confirm?
I'm going to do that next.
Julie's
Yeah.
got that on.
Speaking of that, Tom.
Oh, you've got it?
Okay, the moratorium is set to expire on June 30th. So I am asking for a motion from the court to extend the moratorium to
So moved.
December 31st, 23. By then, we should have a better understanding of what the comprehensive plan looks like through all of our meetings and our public meetings and our interlocal government meetings. And we'll know how the citizens feel about solar in Danville, Boyle County. So I'm asking for that motion. I have it by Magistrate Ellis.
And would you be willing to amend it to all energy sources, because there are rumors of windmills coming into this county as well?
Well, right now, it's just the moratorium on solar.
You'd have to pass another moratorium.
Yeah.
Separate? Okay.
Yeah, separate,
Okay.
because this is just for solar.
Then I'll keep my motion with you.
Okay. All right, second by Magistrate Bodner. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. All right, were you finished with your comments?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, what I have was the solar moratorium. Again, I want to thank the fiscal court for going through the budget process with me, and thank you all for working together collaboratively with each other, the finance committee, myself, Julie, all the department heads that have been involved. So I just want to let you know my appreciation for that. Also, in addition to what Magistrate Cullen was talking about on Goggin, on Highway 52, we have some issues of speeding and people running off the road causing accidents, potential harm to property owners that may be out in their yard. So we have requested that the Sheriff's Department go out there with some additional, okay, my word just left. Thank you, Tom. Surveillance. And try to slow down those people coming and going between Danville and Lancaster on 52. Yesterday marked my 34th year in county government, and I forgot to even, I didn't even think about it until last night. After I got on, I'm like, hey, today's my work anniversary. So, yeah.
You didn't get yourself a certificate or a plaque or nothing, huh?
I mean, where's my HR guy? I mean, when I need him, you know. Yeah, my work anniversary. And let's see, I think that was it. You all have mentioned the fireworks that are coming up. Courthouse will be closed next Tuesday for July the 4th. And then I do want to adjourn in memory of Corporal Angela Watson, who was a 6-year employee at the detention center.
Julie, I have one.
Okay, and Miss Julie has one thing.
Do we want to set a workshop date with, about animal control?
Yes.
Yes.
We need, thank you for remembering that.
Yes.
I've been
We
waiting.
need to get that set.
If you all can look at your calendars real quickly.
That's not my calendar.
Let's see.
They have requested after 4 PM.
Yes,
Does that work for
PM.
everybody?
Huh?
After 4 PM? They've
Why?
asked.
Oh, this is,
They've requested it after 4 PM.
It's gonna be all of us, right?
this is with animal control?
No, no.
This is with
the
the Humane Society Board.
Yes.
And us, it will have to be a workshop meeting, so it will be advertised, open to the public.
Okay. What day? How far are we looking?
Well, we need to get some, I need y'all to give me some dates that you're available, and then I need to coincide with them on what works for them.
Or is there any dates to avoid?
Yeah, just give
That
me,
might be
that'd be
easier.
easier. Give me the
July
dates.
11th and 18th are the comprehensive
Right.
plan days. So we
11 and 18.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to do those.
All right. Anybody else have any dates that they know they cannot?
Chris,
Um,
Chris is out July 24th to the 28th.
24th is the
I'll be
20th.
out
He told me
July-
that. Yeah, he did
I'll be
tell me
out July
that. That last week of
22nd
July.
through August 6th, so
Okay.
July 22nd. After that.
Okay, so I will look at scheduling between the 10th and the 21st, avoiding the 11th and the 18th.
Yeah, try to avoid the 10th. I'm planning
10th,
on-
okay.
I'm planning on taking the kids somewhere.
All right, so the 10th,
6th and the
11th, and 18th. Okay, I'll get back with you all. We'll send out an invite for the meeting.
13th, I will not be available in the evening.
Okay, 10, 11, 13, that's narrowing it down,
And 18.
and 18. Okay, all right, thank you for doing that. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a motion, Magistrate Gay?
I'm having
Second,
too much fun.
Magistrate Sleeper? All right, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries, and we're out by noon.
Hallelujah. Jackie did, you